There's a blizzard there one time. Couldn't even see the grandstand.
Was a near whiteout.
I think we've experienced every element of weather you can have here. Right there you see the air temperature 43 degrees, the concrete surface about the same as air temperature. And look here, guys, no snow.
No, but there might be a tornado or two brewing.
Yeah, one thing we've not seen is the eye of the storm, and we will. You will get to see this graphic today, I promise.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's going to be in the opening laps right behind that second pace vehicle, because that's where a lot of fast drivers are lined up based on owner points that want to get to the front.
Now, these are my guys right here. I love getting in the car with these guys. I can learn so much, and I can tell you at home so much about how their cars are doing when we can get inside. Look at those hands on the wheel.
They'll be a little busy here shortly.
The second pace vehicle used to help the drivers measure pit road speed on their tachometers is pulled off. And now it's one big 43-car freight train.
Oh, this is as close as some of these guys will ever get to the front, because when they go single file, they're going to be over here taking the green, and they're going to be back there waiting for the green.
And Darrell, the challenge for Greg Biffle in the 16 car starting on the outside of the front row, you want to get to the bottom. And that's where your spotter, you depend on that spotter, because you get caught in the outside, especially at the start of the race, you can go from second to 22nd.
When I was starting on the inside here, I slept good on Saturday night. When I was starting on the outside, I was calling everybody I knew to see if I could make a deal. Let me in, let me in.
Let's make a deal.
10 past Bristol winners in today's field. 28th race since they put concrete down. The asphalt kept tearing up, so they paved it with concrete in August of '92. And now we're ready to go.
DW, it's the house you and Hammond built. Reach up there and pull those belts tight. One more time, get this party started.
Oh, yeah, baby. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. Cars in trouble, guys.
Jimmy Johnson didn't get going at all.
No, he's something wrong with his car. It looks like he got a flat tire.
Yeah, he's got problems. They're just stacking up behind him. Problem will be getting to the bottom if he indeed is trying to get to pit road.
He's got a right rear tire down, Larry. I'm pretty sure.
Matt?
He just came on the radio, Mike, said his first words, it will not turn. I repeat, it will not turn. Earl Barb and the spotter trying to help him through traffic.
Johnson, the point leader, is going to fall all the way to the back, and if he pits under green, he'll lose a lap or two.
And he's pitting on the front stretch, so what he could do under green is enter in turn 4, go out turn 1.
Yeah, he's made contact already, and what he's got to do is get all these guys by him so he can get on pit road. He can't even pit until now.
Well, I know it's not of his making, but this is not a very good return for Chad Knaus, his crew chief, and he is on pit road.
Here's a look at it on the start. Reed Sorensen runs out of room, gets into Jimmy, rips up that left front fender a little bit.
He just couldn't get out of the way.
Now, Darrell, there's nowhere to hide.
No, he had to wait till the whole field got by before he could even get on pit road. Got a change for the lead here. Tony just bobbled, and Greg Biffle shot right by him.
That's all it takes. Matt?
Mike, Jimmy has diagnosed it as a flat tire. The crew got to check over the tires. He's away, but he's lost a lot of track position on the racetrack.
If you're going to have trouble, better to have it right now. You've got 490 laps to get it back.
Yeah, he's going to go at least 2 laps down. And he falls in behind the pack, which Greg Biffle is only the distance between turn 3 and 4 of putting him a 3rd lap down.
Well, you know, we've talked all week long about it's pretty easy to be the crew chief when everything goes right. You better have your work clothes on now, because you got a lot of ground to make up.
Back to Johnson's pit.
Mike, the right front tire had a 1-inch gash. The team has circled it. The air's still coming out. Tough break for Jimmy Johnson, but like you said, DW, now he can settle in, work on getting the lucky dog, get back into this race.
And that had to happen under the pace laps. These guys didn't have to start on the tires they qualified on because there were no qualifying sessions.
Boy, Junior.
Yeah, Junior just squirreled up the 25. Look at Vickers.
He just shot him out of the way. Excuse me.
And that's how you pass here, Darrell, as you said. If somebody is in front of you and you're faster, they don't want to move over, watch what happens.
There
Watch
you
the
go.
8.
Well, the 88 held up to 25 just long enough. Junior got to him. Got a little bump and run.
What'd you call it yesterday? Punt, pass, or
Punt,
kick?
pass, and kick, baby. I really like boot scoot, though. You boot them out of the way, scoot on by.
Yeah, we're only on lap 11. We were just looking at the left side of Ryan Newman, the 12 car. He's running with his teammate Kurt Busch in the 2. They're back there battling right now for the 6th position, already a tire mark. Every car here, even the car that goes to victory lane, will probably look like that.
Rusty Wallace scored 7 of his 9 victories here, driving for Roger Penske in the number 2. He also got 7
trouble
pole.
on the back, guys.
Brent Sherman has spun around.
And that caution is good news for Jimmie Johnson because he still was not going anywhere. He was about to go another lap down to Greg Biffle.
Yeah, and now he can start up on the inside, and he's going to be able to get some of those laps back.
And if there's a place you can get it back under green, it's a short track like this starting on that inside.
I believe Kevin LePage, 61, and Sherman got together. Here's a look.
And you know what caused that? The leader was coming. I got to go, dude. You're holding me up. I don't want to go a lap down.
The patience was running thin.
There's the yellow car coming off the corner right there now. That's Biffle, and the spotters are screaming at those guys back there. You gotta, don't let that guy hold you up. You gotta go. You're gonna get lapped.
Now let's quickly review the free pass rule. The first driver a lap or more down in the race when the caution comes out is given a free pass to eliminate racing back to the yellow flag. Jimmie Johnson was the only car that was laps down, so he'll get one of his back right here.
Yep, but it's something that I was kind of interested in, Larry, and you just mentioned it. He wasn't going anywhere.
No, he was not. And the thing about it, when you get the free pass, that means he gets one of them back, but he can't go up there and start on the inside because when you get the free pass, you have to start at the tail end of the longest line, so he'll be at the rear of the field, but he's got one of his laps back.
Somebody's bad luck ends up being somebody's good luck, and it happens all day long here at Bristol.
By Sprint, proud partner of the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Subway Restaurants. Subway, drive hard, eat fresh. And by the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. It's time for the Singular Virtual Crew Chief. Will a driver starting outside the top 15 win today's race? Yes or no? Junior started outside the top 15. Text the word crew to 191 on your Singular wireless phone, or log on to foxsports.com/singular. You'll also be entered in with a chance to win and race with Jeff Burton's payday at the July race at Daytona, race that you can see on Fox. So far, Jeff Hammond, impatience and urgency, a couple of words coming to mind.
Yeah, definitely so. You see these guys strung out, guys at the tail end of the field like Jimmie Johnson. He knows he's got to get a move on, otherwise the leaders will be all over him. But guys, you need to kind of keep an eye on. Kyle Busch won the race yesterday, sitting back here in 17th. He is probably going to be making his way toward the front, and don't be one bit surprised to see Jamie Murray following him.
It snowed earlier today. The sun is out now, Mike, here in Bristol.
Getting set for the restart, Johnson, as Larry pointed out, has to start tail end of the longest line. He cannot pull up on this restart.
He was trying.
And he just got reminded of it, too, because he was headed to the front.
Now, before you text no, because of the points, a lot of drivers starting outside the top 15. Yesterday's winner, Kyle Busch, Jeff Burton, Kenny Schrader, and others.
Look at this. He's over in turn 2. Jimmie Johnson is, and we're getting the green right here. So he's over a half lap. He's 2/3 of a lap down.
And he can only pass to the outside before you get to the start-finish line and take the green.
But there you see it right there. You see the leaders already over here in the middle of 3 and 4. Jimmie Johnson just now going into turn 1, 2/3 of a lap down.
Dale Jarrett kicked up to the high side. Brian Vickers underneath him, and here comes Kyle Busch.
Dale's car doesn't look real good right now, and he's got himself on the outside, but he's able to work it back in by just cutting little Busch no slack. He just cut down on him. I guess a little Busch would be a shrub, right?
Which was Kyle's nickname growing up. Greg Biffle, the leader, Tony Stewart, Matt Kenseth, and Carl Edwards in 4th place, Jeannie.
Carl Edwards coming on the radio here during the caution saying, I'm tight in the middle and loose off. And very carefully his crew chief, Bob Osborne, came back at him and said, I'm not saying you're doing this, but that loose off may be that you're trying too hard. Not that you are, but just a thought. Matt?
Kurt Busch just passed Mark Martin to take over the 5th position. Now Busch is having issues still with that radio. His team is asking him to use hand signals. He first put a hand on the window net, letting them know that going to hear them. But he cannot communicate to the team what the race car is doing, so radio problems persist for the former Bristol winner.
You know what I used to tell Hammond when he'd tell me something like, you maybe trying too hard, or maybe it's something you're doing? I said, dude, you need to work on the car and quit working on me.
But Darrell, I think it's safe to say at this racetrack, you definitely have to drive it with the throttle as much as you do the steering wheel.
Well, forward bite here, you just have such a hard time hooking up. The track's got those little chattery marks in it, breaks the rear traction.
Rookies battling, and Robbie Gordon right amongst them in the 7. Clint Bowyer 07, Denny Hamlin 11. Both started deep in the field. And here comes Bobby Labonte now driving the Petty 43. He led 33 laps last week at Atlanta. And he looks to be strong here. Had good times in practice.
We talked about this a while ago, though. This is classic Bristol. Clint Bowyer in the 07 was trapped on the outside, but he finally gets to the bottom of the racetrack. That's what that driver's looking for there, is for that spotter to say, clear low.
Once you get shoved up, you say, oh man, oh no, now what am I going to do? Because you got to almost just take a chance of forcing yourself back in line and hoping the guy doesn't run over you.
Tell you what, we're looking back at Robbie Gordon in that 7-car ride with Denny Hamlin in the 11. Robbie Gordon has definitely made some ground. Started back in 37, as you mentioned, Mike. He's made his way all the way up to 27th, so he's on the move.
I tell you what, here's the cat that's on the move, guys. I just got to tell you, I'd put a lot of money on that 2-car today. It looks, I tell you, and I'll tell you why. Not because Kurt's driving it, but because I know how Rusty always ran here, and that car looks exactly like it does when Rusty has driven it here.
And it's the same car that he actually raced. I know it's the same team, but it's the car he raced here last year.
You take Kurt Busch at this track, we know he's good here. You put him in that race car, I believe that's a winning combination.
On the Fox tracks, you saw the deficit to the leader is measured in car lengths. There's no point in measuring seconds here, but car lengths are pretty much how you judge. Jeff Burton backing up. He's given up a lot of spots and finally drops in line. But let's check with Matt.
Hey, just to add further on the 2-car, Mike, now still having radio issues, but DW, most of the guys that are on this 2 team, the core mechanics came with Roy McCauley from that Busch team that they ran so successful last year.
Yeah, Matt, I just think the car just looks so good. He's going around Matt Kenseth. He's up to 3rd place. I tell you, the car looks really good.
You know, we talk about a half-mile racetrack, and it's been about 20 laps. Look at this. The entire half-mile racetrack, it's like a conveyor belt of cars. You have to look closely to see who's even leading the race.
It's hard to find the leader. That's why we have Fox tracks. There he is, Greg Biffle. Now, he has a sizable lead, and at Bristol, 1.2 seconds is sizable. It's almost half the length of the back straightaway.
But he's going to lose every bit of that here very shortly, Mike, because he's coming up on the back of the field, and these guys are going to race really hard to try to stay on the lead lap.
In the back of the field still consists basically of Jimmie Johnson in that 48 car. He has absolutely went nowhere, even by putting fresh tires on in that last caution.
He's not happy with that car. I heard him talking about the steering. One thing I have had happen here with real low air pressure, I have had the steering box lock up when your pressures are real low.
Now Jimmy's got a giddy up go. His mirror is full of Greg Biffle. He's worked his way around the 32. That's Travis Kvapil. And Biffle is going to take a little more time getting past Kvapil than Johnson did. As Kvapil struggled, this is perfectly legal, Darrell, trying to struggle and stay on that lead lap if you can.
I think that's the big thing, if you can. And he obviously couldn't, so the Biffle right on by.
.39 of 500 laps complete in Thunder Valley, and Greg Biffle second in points last year from the outside pole because qualifying was rained out, has assumed command of this race.
That much faster than I am, I'm gonna let him go.
He did too. He just pulled down and
now this morning Stewart on NASCAR Race Day on Speed TV said one of his goals was to get his 5 bonus points for leading a lap early. If that's going to happen, Tony's got to pick it up.
I tell you, this is about as spread out as I've seen cars this early in a race here. These guys are pretty much all the way around the racetrack, but there's a good gap between most of them. That's what you really try to do. You try to get a little space between you and the guy behind you so he doesn't run over you.
You know, a car that started up near the front, the 26 car, Jamie McMurray. Now remember, this is the old 97 group.
Biffle almost hit the wall in two, excuse me, Larry, but he went way up the hill. He may have a tire.
He's in trouble. He's in trouble.
Got a tire down. He's coming to pit road.
Come on around. You ain't got to come down this pit road. Just keep coming to turn 2.
He's got a right rear. Well, I don't know. Looks like a right front.
Right front, guys.
Right front.
Now he's pitting at the very end of the backstretch pits. Remember, under green, we've been talking about it. You only have to use the one pit road. He'll enter at turn 2, exit at turn 3.
See if we can see what happens. See if any sparks, dust, or anything flies out of her. Bam, yeah. Don't see any sparks, but he just
definitely went up and kissed that wall with the right rear, though.
And where he hit the wall, he could not get down to pit road to enter in turn 2, so he had to make that extra lap.
Now this is a little bit tougher tire than they ran here last year. A little bit harder compound. They were expecting no tire problems. The same tire they ran at Las Vegas. But Dick, he's got a right front down, looks like.
Yeah, he sure did. Right front damage as well, Darrell. Not terribly serious damage, but having to pit out of the lead like that with a flat tire, that's a serious problem.
And that created an opportunity for Tony Stewart, and he has gone to the lead as now Kurt Busch has slowed.
And he's coming to pit road.
Nice and easy. 3,600.
Now he's pitting on the front stretch, so he enters at turn 4 under green.
Penalty for Greg Biffle. He was too fast entering pit road, and the electronic speeding police wrote him a ticket. Here's Matt.
Possible right rear down on the 2 of Kurt Busch. Going to work on the right side, already completed. Right side tires only.
Let's show you what happened to Kurt Busch. So 2 of the top 3 have had trouble in quick succession here.
Into turn 3 right there. And oh yeah, they see the right rear step out. Right away, he knows he's got a problem. And here's Stewart to the lead, gets his 5 bonus points. Thank you very much.
Mission accomplished for Tony Stewart. So Stewart now leads Matt Kenseth by a little more than half a second. Carl Edwards third, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin are the new top 5. Things change so quickly here.
So 64 laps in this race, we've had 3 of our top 9 starters have a tire problem already. Jimmie Johnson in the 48, Kurt Busch in the 2, and now Greg Biffle in the 16.
Now Biffle's problem put Michael Waltrip, who we're riding with, back on the lead lap. But Stewart is there, trying to put Waltrip 1 lap down. Matt Kenseth, new colors for Kenseth this week. There's the USG car in blue and white with red. Trying to close in on Tony Stewart as Stewart battles Waltrip with David Stremme just ahead.
Well, you just see what an advantage it is to be able to run on the bottom of the racetrack. You see how Tony just shot by Michael right through the middle of the corner.
Darrell, you talked about this car right here in the pre-race. Jeff Gordon in that 24 car. Yeah, he has moved up because people are having problems, but he's also moved up because he's got a good race car. He's up to the 4th position, running behind his teammate Jimmie Johnson in the 48, who had that tire problem at the start of the race. Johnson right now is 2 laps down back in 40th.
Yeah, if you want to hedge your bet on him.
Matt has the tire that came off Kurt Busch's car.
Roy McCauley and the 2 team, Mike, they've already looked at the tire. This is the right rear. You can see they've 2 circled it. Gash right there. So he obviously has run over some kind of debris on the racetrack. Still having issues also with the radio. That's why they weren't sure whether they're going to go with a 4-tire stop or a 2-tire stop. To Nick Bergman.
And this is the tire that came off the right front of Greg Biffle's car. That's a cut.
Something is cutting the tires. And I don't think it's debris.
Stewart now by 0.8 of a second over Matt Kenseth, and Kenseth has his teammate Carl Edwards right with him, and Jeff Gordon coming fast.
The reason I say that is because I think the 9 car now has a problem. Something happened there. Maybe the 00 bottled him up, but the track has a lot of places in it that the concrete has got very, very thin.
Kyle Petty, turn 2.
Caution is out.
And not a moment too soon.
Boy, we needed that, I think, just to regroup here.
Hermie Sadler backed up that group of cars. He was being black flagged. NASCAR wanted to see him on pit road. Aaron's 00. There's Hermie, the older of the two brothers from Virginia.
When you're off the pace here or your car's driving bad, you can't get out of the way.
Nope.
There's nowhere to go. No place to hide.
If you try to go high and let them go by on the inside, you pick up all that rubber and trash on your tires. Then you can't drive your car. Then you can't even get out of the way. So the only place you can do is ride around the bottom, and then you're right in the groove.
Kyle Petty, a single car spin, somewhat of a rarity here at Bristol. And David Stremme will be recipient of the free pass.
And there's no question that all of our lead lap cars will be to pit road here at lap 73. 4 tires full of fuel and major adjustments.
Matt Kenseth and the Robbie Reiser-led crew. Here's Dick.
Jeff Gordon started in the 11th position. He has worked his way up to the 4th position. However, the car is loose under throttle, which they're going to try to adjust with air pressure. JD.
Well, the 99 of Carl Edwards, a little loose. Car pretty good, though. It is getting better. They're going to air pressure adjust the left side tires only. That will help him on the short runs. Carl coming on the radio saying, I think I am better than and faster than that 17 car. Matt?
Leader Tony Stewart, by virtue of car room points from last year, started on the pole, also got the first pit stall with his selection. Now Stewart says the car starts out loose, then goes tight. Gerald Shires, the tire specialist with the team, made an air pressure adjustment after Zippy and the engineers talked things over, and he is away.
Want to send a get well soon to Steve Burns, one of our NASCAR on Fox pit reporters, under the weather today. We've completed 74 laps in the Food City 500. Jeff Gordon and Elliott Sadler, 6th place here. The 2 of Kurt Busch is 1 lap down.
Yeah, Gordon and that group, they actually lost a little bit of ground on their pit stop. Lost about 3 or 4 positions, which is very easy to do here. You heard Dick Berggren talk about how small the pit boxes are. It's very easy to get boxed in.
Is anybody just having a nice standard day? Not the leader, not the 17 of Matt Kenseth. Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, things are going a lot better right now, Mike, but Kenseth was unable to hear his crew chief, Robbie Reiser. So they went and changed radios in the car on that pit stop, and I've got him in my ear right now, and they're communicating back and forth. Or at least somebody is.
Communication here, again, is so hard because of all the noise. You cannot stand down there in the pits and talk to anyone. Even with the radio on, it's difficult.
I used to give all my guys, the important guys, a little notepad. Hand me notes. Don't scream at me. All I can do is see your lips moving, and I almost can't even hear those moving.
Ryan Newman up for 3rd in the Alltel Dodge. When I worked the pits here, I would carry a notepad and show the crew chiefs the question on paper, because if I asked it, there's no way they could hear.
They would just give you an answer of something.
Right. I didn't hear what you said, but
Tell you what, that was another cat that's been on the move right there. We were just riding with him, Kevin Harvick, in that 29 car, started back in the 14th position. I think those guys had a great pit stop, and he's moved up to the 4th position, the defending champion of this race from 1 year ago.
I think the biggest of the comers right now is that DuPont 24 of Jeff Gordon. Now he's battling Michael Waltrip, who's a lap down, and gives him plenty of room. And Gordon sets sail for Kevin Harvick, the 4th place car.
And Larry, you were talking about how the cars would look when the race is over with. I bet you that 24 looks like it hadn't been in a race when the race is over.
And you're about right. But right now what's going on, it looks like Jeff Gordon, the 24, is poking the hole, and Kurt Busch in the 2 says, okay, I'll go through it with you.
10th place. On the right of your screen, Mayfield and Earnhardt Jr.
Tell you what, we watched that 8 car yesterday in practice. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Budweiser car, looked awfully good and looks pretty sporty here as well.
Another cut tire. Stanton Barrett, 95, held up a pack of cars out of turn 2. Finally, he was able to get down to the bottom of the racetrack. He'll pit on the backstretch side.
Looks like right front on that car, too. It looks like it's limping by with the right front down. One thing I'm noticing, and maybe it's early to say this, but it looks like when you run out of the groove, 95's been pushed up high a couple of times. That's when you have the problem.
Next week, another short track. The paperclip shaped Martinsville, Virginia Speedway. It's the DirecTV 500.
And that will be a continuing story from today, I guarantee you.
You're watching Kevin Harvick at work. The car in his mirror is the 24 Jeff Gordon. 4th place.
Inside, 24 will be clear.
Kurt Busch in the 2. He's going to try to take advantage. This is what he's been doing.
By himself, 2's clear.
Kevin Harvick, 29, just cannot keep his car on the bottom.
No, but you know what he can do? He keep that 2 inside, I bet you.
Yeah.
He'll drive hard as he can to keep him right in his front so he can look in his mirror and see him back there. Harvick likes to play games like that.
Right. So can a driver who started out of the top 15 win today? Qualifying had never been rained out at Bristol previously. You said, sure, 57%. Probably 56% of those were Dale Jr. fans. Remember, when you participate, you're automatically entered for a chance to win Jeff Burton's payday, July in Daytona.
NASCAR Next Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of NASCAR.
We're under caution for the 3rd time at lap 109. Stanton Barrett, in the hair of the dog Chevrolet, got a boot from Clint Boyer and ended up in the turn 4 wall. There you see it.
Stanton kind of went up high going into 3, and I think Boyer thought he was giving him the bottom, and all of a sudden Stanton cut down just a tad, and Boyer had nowhere to go, but got into him, turned him. See it back there.
Kurt Busch will get the free pass. We'll get his lap back. He'll be back on the lead lap. And updating you from the last caution, in which Denny Hamlin, who we're riding with now, and the number 4 of Scott Wimmer were gigged for being too fast on pit road, had to do a drive-through penalty.
Also, Greg Biffle in the 16 car will get 1 of his 3 laps back. So he's still got 2 to go. But once again, as we've been talking, he'll probably be able to go up there and start at the front of the pack again and be able to drive off. We're seeing most of our lead lap cars stay out because they were only on pit road about 30 laps ago. We're seeing some of the guys that were about mid-pack, mainly Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kyle Busch in the 5, Joe Nemechek, Casey Mears. A lot of the cars mid-pack on back that are hitting pit road.
Yeah, come in now, makes, you know, if you're not real good right now, it's a good time to work on it because this thing's got a green flag look to it here later on.
And Darrell, Jeff and I didn't get a chance to talk about it in the beginning of the show, but this is one of those racetracks, if your car's a little bit off, you almost want to get off sequence with the leaders and see if you can make up some ground that way. We saw that in the Busch race yesterday.
The biggest risk is that you get back in there in traffic and you get run over from behind.
There's no free lunches here, that's for sure.
Go hard, straight through.
Tony Stewart's now led 51 laps. Greg Biffle led 52 earlier. We're under the 3rd caution of the day at Bristol. Sorensen wisely got off the gas.
Guys. Rear quarter panel.
And allowed Junior to get straightened up. But
you got to tell him when there's people wrecking in front of him.
But what happens here? One person's problem affects somebody 20 cars back. In this case, Scott Riggs.
Chain reaction. Junior got in trouble up here in the middle of 3 and 4, and it all started from there. It started there, ended down here with Scott Riggs in the wall. See Junior on the outside. He runs in the back of Kyle Busch. They got the 41 up the hill. Now here he comes trying to force his way through.
That was the start of it. Joe Nemechek also involved there in these accordion-like collisions. And then further back, drivers have to react to this, and here's what happens.
Well, we talked about it at the top of the show. You're running around here 15.5 seconds. You come off of turn 4, it's only 4.5 seconds till you get down to turn 1.
Look like Jeff Burton gets into the back of Scott Riggs right here and just spins it around.
Come on. Cautious out.
That'll be good news for Michael Waltrip throwing the 55 car. He'll be back on the lead lap with a free pass. And a little damage on that Army car. Joe Nemechek, part of the chain reaction again.
He got in the back of Sorensen, who got in the back of Dale Earnhardt Jr. And how does that go? So on and so on and so on.
Just keeps on keeping on.
It's chain.
5th yellow flag, lap 126.
Boy, that thing is hurt.
Yeah, he's going to have to come to pit road and get some work done on that thing.
He just comes off a 2 over there, and he's trying to get up there. He needs to get around Tony Stewart. He knows that, and he's pushing hard. Matt jumped to the outside, which I think probably surprised Jimmy in the 48. Caught him pretty hard lick when you see the car rock around like that.
We'll show you this again and then show you what brought out the caution flag.
Oh, yeah, this is... Wow.
Pretty hard lick. You can see sparks flying.
Yes, sir.
That was on the backstretch. Then coming off turn 4, David Stremme. Oh, it's Stremme that gets into Marlin in the 14. Michael Waltrip's just trying to avoid it all.
Close. Whoa.
Right in front of you. Right in front of you.
Now let me get this straight. Is that 40 car Sterling Marlin, or is that?
Was last year.
It was
last year. Yep.
Get wrecked by your own car. I don't know about that.
All right, Scott Riggs has gone behind the wall. Jimmie Johnson to pit road. Matt.
Soon after Mikey hit the wall, he came on the radio and said, "We are definitely wounded now." Now the game plan, right side tires is stopped. The crew guys are looking under the car to see if they can diagnose the issue, the chassis issue that Jimmy is feeling out on the racetrack. Ron Malik was looking underneath the car. He's going to go out, not lose another lap, come back in. Then they're going to raise the left sides, change the left side tires, and look on that side. See if they can figure out what is wrong with this 48 car.
Bent fenders and hurt feelings. We're under the 5th caution flag of the day in Bristol.
NASCAR Next Dog Cup Racing.
So he'll now be 3 laps down.
5 drivers have cut tires today. They are all still in the race. The only cars behind the wall are Hermie Sadler and Scott Riggs. Dick?
Okay. Well, Matt Kenseth is still having trouble with his radio. He says he's hearing about every 5th word that his crew chief tells him. They just dodged a huge bullet here. They picked up a big piece of tape on the radiator grill. It fell off. They got lucky on that one. Going green.
Stewart, Kenseth, Gordon, Newman, Harvick, Edwards, and Elliott Sadler.
See Greg Biffle in that 16 car up there clawing, still trying to get those laps back. He was one of the cars we just showed on our graphic that had the tire issue. He jumps out in front of our leader, Tony Stewart, in the 20 car.
Yeah, he's plenty fast, Larry. I think he'll get those laps back eventually.
Yeah, right now he would only be 1 lap down with where he's sitting now.
You're going to have trouble here at Bristol. Have it early. Get the lucky dog or get out there and get that lap back by starting up in the front of all this mess. Sometime after you get back on the lead lap and you restart about 30th, you say, man, it wasn't too bad being a lap down up there on those restarts.
Looking back at Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car riding with Denny Hamlin, this is a battle for right up there about 14th or 15th right now. And Denny Hamlin has had a fast race car all weekend. Had to go to the rear of the field a while ago because of a pit road speeding incident. Now he got a change for the lead. They've kicked Stewart in the upper groove. Jeff Gordon in the 24. He's going to try to squeeze in there, but Stewart will fall back in line. But Matt Kenseth in the 17, he'll now get those 5 points for leading.
Tony's car just a little bit loose right now. A little tail happy coming off the corner. Johnson's back in the pits. He's still got problems.
That was a hard lick over there on that wall.
It really was. I think it knocked the rear end way out of line.
Matt Kenseth's coming up on a tough decision to make. Greg Biffle is trying to stay just 1 lap down when Kenseth catches him. How hard will he work to lap his teammate?
I don't believe he'll catch him, Mike. Matt's pretty good, but Greg is teeny bit better looking at the stopwatch.
Well, till he had the tire problem, he was the class of the field in the early part of the race.
But if he did catch him, I think he would cut him a lot of slack.
Yeah, because Biffle, with being 2 down, he really needs to make this one up the way he's doing it. Then that would put him in position to get the free pass to get that final lap back.
Dale Jr. and Denny Hamlin have really been going at it. I mean, they've been digging at it hard. And Junior has put the bumper to Hamlin twice now.
Well, Junior's quite a bit quicker. And when you get behind somebody and you're quicker than they are and they're holding you up, you lose your patience in about 5 laps.
And Darrell, in the pre-race, you talked about rookies. If you look at the back of Denny Hamlin's car, you see that yellow stripe. All the rookies have to run at it. It's to let the competitors know, hey, I'm a rookie. I'm probably making my first start here at this race.
But those two guys are such good friends. I'm sure Hamlin is all smiles. Stay behind. Follow me, June.
Leaders. Tony Stewart takes it back. Now, that was the second time that Kenseth had led today, and each time Stewart was able to take the lead back at will. Now, talk about a bad day gone bad. Jimmie Johnson is 11 laps down. He's going to be 12. He gets a pass-through penalty for his crew coming over the wall too soon.
Yeah, and his car is really junk. I mean, they've hurt that car. He did that when he hit the wall back there. So his bad day is getting worse.
The hits just keep on coming.
That's the way Bristol does you, man. It gets you down, it'll just stomp you. The old Bristol stomp. Junebug's getting by the 11 this time.
This is a battle for 12th right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8th.
Hamlin gave him plenty of room. Teammates together, the 18 there and the 11 from Joe Gibbs Racing. J.J. Yeley.
Well, I'll tell you what, you look at Casey Kane back there behind J.J. Yeley in the 9 car. Remember, he comes into this race second in the points, only 50 points behind Jimmie Johnson. This could be the first time leaving here a Ray Evernham car has ever led the Nextel Cup points. If he can maintain here, I think this is one of those big picture days for Casey Kane in the 9.
Here are the points as of the moment. Matt Kenseth would take the lead from Jimmie Johnson with Kane second and Mark Martin third, given the positions the cars are in coming up on 150 of 500 laps.
Can't help but notice that man right now that's sitting 5th in the points. We knew it was only going to be a matter of time. Jeff Gordon in that 24 car right there that's running second on the racetrack right now.
And points are the reason Jimmie Johnson can't just pull in and call it a day. He's got to log as many laps as possible, get as many points as he can, because every race pays the same amount of points.
And by the end of this race, I mean, you could have 8 or 10, even 12 cars in the pits, in the garage, torn up. So you got to keep going.
Jeff Burton, the singular Chevy, feathers the throttle to stay underneath Brian Vickers without contact, and Kurt Busch right behind.
I thought all the Childress cars would be really, really good here, as well as they've been in the past. But Burton is not all that great right now. Clint Bowyer's up there a little bit better, but Harvick's struggling a tad right now.
Tell you what, someone that's not struggling, that 5 car right there, Kyle Busch, remember the winner of our Busch race here yesterday, he just moves up to the 9th position.
And I really shouldn't say Harvick's struggling. I mean, he's back there, he's in 5th place, so he's not in too bad a shape.
Pedaling, maybe.
Got to remember something, guys. These fellers run 300 laps yesterday. So you're not going to come in here today all fired up. You're going to come in here today and log a few laps.
And what about the effect of the weather, Darrell? It's 40 degrees out. Yesterday it was colder and snowing. You don't get cold when you're in the car, but what about each time you have to stop?
Well, the heat takes its toll on any driver because of dehydration. You take heat, carbon monoxide, and then the physical strain that you put on yourself here at this racetrack. You take all 3 of those together and it'll take its toll. So the cooler weather is a blessing to these drivers having run all these laps.
Tell you what, that 88 car, he's having a pretty solid day right now. He's up there in the 12th position. Dale Jarrett in the UPS 88 car. Pretty solid.
I tell you, 11 car Hamlin and Jarrett, they've been going at each other. And of course, you know, Dale Jarrett's had a little problem with rookies here in the past.
he had his hands full of steering wheel right there coming off the corner.
I expect Denny Hamlin said, I think I'll back off here and give him a little room.
You can hear him backpedaling there with the throttle.
I believe Jarrett said this week that he has one more year to go with Robert Yates Racing, but he intends to race through 2008, assuming he stays healthy and remains competitive. Up front, Jeff Gordon has put the flames out front.
And Darrell, we're seeing a Tony Stewart that we've not seen, especially this year. That's twice he had a car that caught him that was faster. He just basically looked like he let him go by.
Black flag us here. We got a lot of smoke coming out.
Looks like the 55's got a problem here, guys.
Coming inside, you got about 6 more.
That smoke's coming out.
Uh-oh, 31 car around, and there's oil in the
Oh, they're
track.
all spinning.
There's oil on the track.
Out, buddy. Caution's out. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
Jeff Burton and Brent Sherman are the two cars that go around.
I think Michael is maybe broken an oil line, and they've gotten some oil on the racetrack.
You got an oil line loose or something.
Well, that's good news for Greg Biffle. That 16 car, he is now only 1 lap down.
Look under the hood real quick. Make sure didn't someone get a wrench on. Let's get our wrenches ready, guys. Wrenches ready. Get fish down here.
So Biffle was in front of the leader, gets a lap back that way as Burton and Jeff Green.
You know, I don't know if that didn't look like oil, really. I mean, that's just getting in under Jeff Green there, and he cut him off, and Jeff Burton spun his car out.
Let's ride with Jeff Burton through this.
Now you stay in the throttle to keep those rear wheels spinning so it won't run up there and back into the fence.
Kenseth is in, getting 4 tires and fuel. Here's Dick.
Jeff Gordon has done a nice job of parking his car. He's toward the back of his pit stall. That'll leave him some room so he can easily get out. The car is going to get virtually no adjustment, just a little bit of air pressure change. Jeff has got a terrific car. DeGenie.
Well, the 99 of Carl Edwards is coming on the radio saying the car's just dead in the middle. If I could get to the gas, we'd be killing them. He's been fighting tight, but admittedly, he says as we keep going, it gets better. Let's not lose a bunch of spots because everyone else is going to get better too. Tires, gas, gone. Matt?
Tony Stewart has led 92 laps so far today. Now he needs help most, he says, on late exit. Needs a little more forward bite. Grip up off the corner. I don't think he's going to win the battle off pit road. Who was it, Mike?
Matt Kenseth looks to be first out of the pits. Jeff Gordon and then Tony Stewart.
Well, the strategy has started because Kyle Busch, that was on pit road about 50 laps ago, he stayed out to take the lead. There you see the race off pit road.
Robbie Gordon will get the free pass. We've completed 161 laps in the Food City 500.
And to me, that sounds like a relaxed Dale Earnhardt Jr. that's having fun. He's got a good race car, been right there just in the top side of the top 10 all day long.
Well, you know, he has his own television production company now. He's doing a show on speed. And so now he's offering direction from on board the car. Even our director takes direction once in a while. Not often, Artie, but here we go. We're going to go back to green with Kyle Busch and Sterling Marlin out in front of Matt Kenseth, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, and Ryan Newman.
And the old Biffster, he's back on the lead lap, although it be at the tail end.
And that should be a piece of cake considering he's got fresh tires and Kyle Busch in the 5, our leader, has 50 laps on his tires. But you're right, back on the tail end of the lead lap, the Biffster, he's looking for a caution right away.
I'm sure he won't get disappointed. Also, I'm not sure that the 5 car with those old tires isn't going to eat his lunch because he's coming right back up by his back bumper.
Michael Waltrip spent some time behind the wall. He's now back in the race. From Kevin Harvick, looking back at Carl Edwards.
Got the slower cars on the top. Slower cars on the top.
Darrell, would you not tend to believe, though, right here now that Greg Biffle in the 16's back on the tail end of the lead lap, just run the car as hard as you need to right here?
I think so, but he sure doesn't want that 5 to get back around him, although it wouldn't hurt him at this point. He'd get the lucky dog, but he can't depend on that. I think I'd rather outrun the dude and get it the hard way, right, Jeff?
That's the way I'd like to do it, Darrell, kind of earn it back the right way. But one thing you need to remind everybody about is once he gets this lap back and gets back on the lead lap, he's got to go all the way to the back of this longest line and fight his way back to the front. And that's where we'll really find out whether he's as good as he looks now.
Yeah, Jeff, 34 cars on the lead lap still.
That's where my old crew chief buddy will come in and help me out and get me that track position back some way.
You just drive as hard as you can, man. We'll take care of the rest of it on pit road.
Well, you always say, work your hands and not your mouth.
That's exactly right.
Well, it worked for the 2 of Kurt Busch. He got a lap down, and because of a cut tire, on the 3rd caution of the day, he got the free pass, got his lap back, and now he's a contender once again.
Well, I tell you, he is driving with a lot of discipline, because if you look at that car, doesn't have a scratch on it, and he's come through a lot of traffic.
Clear.
Yeah, 100 laps ago he was 39th, and now he's looking real close to the top 10 again here shortly.
Good job, man. Good job. Go get him.
Teammates Jarrett and Sadler. That is for 12th place.
These two cars, both of them, especially Elliott Sadler in that 38 car, they need a good solid finish.
Denny Hamlin in front of Dale Jr. once again.
We've talked about cars that's come from the rear. Denny Hamlin, remember, he had that pit road speeding violation, and now he's back into the top 10 in 10th position. So we know he's got a good car.
And he likes the short tracks. He ran really, really well up at Martinsville last fall, and he likes these small racetracks. That's where he got his experience.
Look at Ryan Newman in the 12. He's got his work cut out for him. Sterling Marlin just ahead on worn tires. Kevin Harvick chomping at his back bumper just behind, and then Carl Edwards. This little area right here could get busy.
Oh, anytime you see them kind of lined up like that, there's a chance that something's going to happen. One slip, not get back to the gas quite like the guy in front behind you thinks you should, and you make a little contact. A little contact here turns you around.
I think
Harvick
that picture right there tells you just how fast you're going around this half-mile racetrack.
It'll make you dizzy. No, I'm serious. You'll get disoriented at times if you run enough green flag laps.
Ryan Newman leading the Dodge Chargers here. Kurt Busch and Jeremy Mayfield also in the top 15 as we close in on 200 laps.
Yeah, Kurt Busch in the 2, he just went by Elliott Sadler in the 38 car, so he just moved up another position.
Newman's got Marlin. He's got the inside, and this should bring Harvick, Edwards, and Mark Martin with him. Now it's Newman who got caught and passed by Harvick and gets hit from behind. They're side by side again. This is not over. This is not pretty.
No, it is not. And NASCAR is telling the 29 car to settle down. We still got a long way to go. We got over 300 laps to go here. I'm not sure these guys are finished just yet.
Harvick wants him to go on the outside of him. That's what he wants.
Lap car up ahead, Stanton Barrett. Harvick should be able to use him as a pick.
But look what they're doing, Mike. Look at all the cars bottled up behind them right now. Everybody's sitting here. All the spotters are saying, watch those two guys up there, and they're anticipating problems.
Yeah, because while they're running side by side as they catch the lap car Stanton Barrett, the cars just continue to stack up behind them.
Outside. Outside.
Now Newman in the 12 is going to get trapped behind the 95 car Stanton Barrett, so he's going to lose 2 more positions.
And he can't squeeze in next to Carl Edwards.
God, we got them wrecking everywhere, guys.
Turn 4. Oh, and Michael Waltrip drives in long after it's over. Hard to see in these steep banks.
Well, you just, when you're up there, you get that trash on your tires. You can't stop.
David Stremme, Brian Vickers, Michael Waltrip all got the worst of it. And Clint Boyer. This happened at turn 4.
A couple of our rookies involved there.
.40 car down there, he's spinning around, spinning everywhere after the accident.
Vickers will take it behind the wall. Stremme to pit road. Now let's first show you what happened as Kevin Harvick was trying to work through traffic, and he and Ryan Newman got together. Now there's Harvick on the bottom, coming up on Barrett. Got a little boot from Newman there.
I don't think Harvick was very happy with that, and I think he showed it right there off in turn 1 and 2.
Outside, outside. You're clear. Settle down, settle down.
And then in turn 4. Dave Blaney around. And everything stacks up.
You see Michael Waltrip in the 55 car Come in here, I think you're right. You could see the front tires sliding on the car.
You get up high, you get shoved up in all that debris, and it gets on your tires and won't stop.
There's that chain reaction, Darrell.
Now, Michael's left front ends up flat, Darrell. It may have been flat when he got here. It may have already been flat.
See him up high. You see him up there, and he's just, the higher you get it, the more debris there is. And all of a sudden, you get to that hole that's not there anymore.
And I'm sure you got to believe the spotter was telling him the track's blocked, basically.
Well, conventional wisdom would tell you that they're going to go down the track. With all the banking, you'd think they'd go down the track, but they were all wadded up there and they couldn't.
And oh, by the way, Greg Biffle in the 16 back on the lead lap.
And that longest line is getting shorter.
Yes, it is.
Right.
And we got a report that Michael Waltrip, all the smoke a while ago, he had an oil cooler problem, an oil cooler leaking, and right now he's out there 10 laps down.
David Stremmy's car has been taken behind the wall for repair. And you see why 160,000 people come here twice a year and fill this place.
Fast. And by freecreditreport.com. Log on now and get the score. And they have stopped the cars here to clean up the track. We've already had 23 cars involved in incidents or accidents so far. It was tire problems a little bit early. Jimmie Johnson, points leader, coming in, is 10 laps down. Currently, Kyle Busch, who won the Busch race yesterday, your leader over Matt Kenseth. Kyle started 20th, by the way. No driver has ever won this race from that 20th position.
And what you're looking at right there is the fact they stopped the race is because there's a lot of oil and water on the track, and NASCAR knows if they don't get that cleaned up properly, they'll have more crashes. You see the safety workers as well as the crew members right there working to try to get this all taken care of. And I mean, this is really what you don't want to see at a racetrack like this when it's only one group.
Kevin Harvick, who swept the race last year, the weekend here, currently 5th, getting into it with Ryan Newman.
Yeah, coming down into the, looks like the turn, he bumps Newman up the racetrack, goes underneath him, and as soon as he clears Newman, Newman comes back on him, and he looks like he's going to be clear, but down the front straightaway, Newman gets in the back of him and gives him a boot and says, hey, you don't do that to me. And now the temper is really starting to get up. 29 goes up and runs the 12 car up high off of turn 2. Dick, what's going on down there?
Well, maybe it's a good thing that all the cars are just sitting still here on the racetrack, because it's going to give the drivers an opportunity to cool off a little bit. Harvick had heeded his radio and said he did not mean to get into Ryan Newman in the 12 car. Meanwhile, Newman told his crew, I'm cool. I didn't want to do the same thing I did last August. I'm okay now. Remember last August here, there was a crash and he retaliated against Dale Jarrett. Wound up failing to finish the event. He's also got some fender damage in the 12 car. Chris?
Thanks, Dick. Under our 7th caution, Michael Waltrip, Jeff, involved in this last incident.
Yeah, you take a look and you see Michael sitting there inside of his car, and you know, right, everything got triggered, and all of a sudden you see the 55 coming in late, I mean real late. Dave Blaney gets turned around, Clint Bowyer gets into him, David Stremmy's in there, Brian Vickers. You don't even see the 55 car, and then all of a sudden, here comes Michael way up high. Look, way up high. He goes around Robbie Gordon's car, the 7 right there, and all of a sudden, there's no place to go, and Michael gets into the 07 car. So let's listen to see what the spotter had to say.
Got a wreck at turn 4, big wreck. Get it slowed down. Track is blocked. Slow it down. Everything's up top. You got to be clear on the bottom. Clear on the bottom. Said turn 1.
Well, it's tough to hear. He said clearly turn 4, but Michael thought he heard turn 1, obviously, and there was a lot of smoke and debris. But that communication, you talked about it with Darrell Waltrip in the pre-race show, between the noise and relying on that spotter, how difficult things can be.
It's very difficult, and I think Darrell also pointed out, when you get out there racing around and realize that Michael had just gone back on the track because of a loose oil line, and when you get disoriented at this place, everything happens so fast. 15.5-second laps, you can make a mistake like that, and when you make a mistake, you can see how quickly you can get yourself in trouble. Spotter clearly said turn 4, clear low. He didn't get down low quick enough. He was thinking he'd get around on the high side when he saw our belts kind of peeling low. Subsequently, he didn't. Fortunately, he didn't get in there too hard and really tear up a lot of race cars. But that's one of the spin-offs of this racetrack is how quickly things happen, how hard it is to communicate, and that's the reason why that communication is so important between these guys that are on top of the roof and the drivers.
And these spotters, like the pit crew members, have weathered a long weekend that has snow and rain and chilly temperatures now, and we are stalled in Bristol with Kyle Busch, your winner.
Lap cars, including Kyle Busch, the race leader, have made pit stops under this caution flag. So when they cycle back around, Matt Kenseth will be in front of Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, and Mark Martin. Let's go to Chris Myers for a Visa Race Break.
Thanks, Mike, from the Hollywood Hotel with Jeff Hammond. Just a quick recap of what has happened over these first 200 laps or so. Jimmie Johnson, the points leader, coming in with suspended crew chief Chad Knaus returning for his first race of the season. And you see Johnson into the wall, but it was a cut tire that caused the bigger problems. He is 10 laps down currently. Greg Biffle at 52 laps also had a tire problem, went a couple laps down back on the lead lap, and a tire problem for Kurt Busch. A right rear. At least 5 different drivers had tire problems. And then we had bumping and grinding Kevin Harvick and Ryan Newman, Jeff.
Yeah, short track racing and short tempers right there between those two. Ryan gets in the back of the 29 car, and then next thing you know, 29 slams back into the 12, and through all this, it triggered a little deal behind them where Dave Blaney got spun around by Clint Boyer, David Stremme, Brian Vickers all involved. And oh, by the way, here comes the 55 car, Michael Waltrip, and bam, he gets involved late in that accident.
That brought out the 7th caution, and that's why we had the delay to clear the track. 23 cars have been involved in some type of incident so far. This has been a Visa Race Break. No matter what it takes, life takes Visa.
Green flag.
Yeah, Kyle Busch in the 5 car, he was somewhat in a box because he had been out there for 90 laps on those tires, so he almost had to come to pit road.
Matt Kenseth, who led 415 laps here in winning last August, out in front. Kevin Harvick got bumped up by Kenny Schrader in turn 3, and it's taken him a lap or 2 to get back by, and does so. Traffic jam. That's Biffle in front of Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte alongside.
Now, all of these cars were cars that just pitted for 4 fresh tires on that caution, including Bobby Labonte and Jeff Burton. Jeff Green in the 66 car as well.
Racing hard for 16th place on back.
You know, a guy that's just we haven't said a whole lot about. We're a couple hundred laps into this race, riding along there in the top 5, minding his own business. Mr. Consistency, Mark Martin, and he will sit right there all day long. And if those other guys beat themselves, he'll be there to take advantage of it.
And we were talking about Kyle Busch, the 5 car that had to come to pit road. I'm going to tell you, not too bad. He restarted back in 14th. Now he has the fresher tire, so he's pretty much picking them up and laying them down right now.
Just ahead of him, Casey Kane. Last year at this time, he came into Bristol 28th in points. Right now, he is 2nd in the Nextel Cup standings.
But just back to follow up on Mark Martin, and we've got a caution out for debris right now, but just real quickly to follow up on Mark Martin. You know, he's quietly sitting 4th in the points, but Bristol's not been that great to him the last 5 years. No top 10 finish here in the last 10 races, so he'd like to change that today.
A wad of tape. That may or
may not be the reason for the caution.
That's kind of a wad of tape off somebody's car. Look like.
J.J. Yaley for Joe Gibbs Racing will get the free pass, and that will give us 29 cars on the lead lap.
I think it's pretty safe to say, unless it's a car at the back of the lead lap cars, for the most part, I think we'll see everyone stay out here.
My daughter Katie is 5.5. Our mom walked into the suite yesterday where the MRO kids are, and my little reserve daughter, who usually hides in a crowd, is jumping up and down going, "Go JJ, go JJ." I don't know what this is all about, but Yaley's her favorite driver, and she hopes he does well today.
I think it's just his name, JJ Yaley.
Maybe it is.
Yay!
Look at that crowd, 40 degrees out. They were ready for it. They're dressed for a midwinter football game, but boy, they're seeing action and excitement right here, Chris.
Yes, Mike, Fox Sports proud to be the new home of the BCS, coming off the highest ratings in history. And beginning in January, Fox will be home to the Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, as well as the new BCS Championship game. The BCS moves to Fox beginning in January 2007. And glad to welcome Allstate as part of our BCS College Football Championship coverage, as well as our NASCAR sponsorship along the way.
Chris, a lot of drivers here nervously wondering about what we call the danger zone, which is the top 35 in championship points. Beginning next week, the top 35 in this year's points are guaranteed to race at Martinsville Speedway. Everybody else has to time their way into the field. And there are some pretty good names like Bobby Labonte, who are right on the cusp of that top 35. Right now, where Labonte sits, he'd be 34th in the standings. Drivers like Scott Riggs, Sterling Marlin would be on the outside looking in.
Mike, Katie's not going to be too happy because J.J. Yaley will not get the free pass. Kyle Petty would, because J.J. Yaley, when they doubled up over in turn 3, he did it in an improper fashion. You've got to pass to the right if a car yields to you. He went to the inside of Brent Sherman, the 49 car, and you can't do that. You have to pass to the right when they go to double up.
She likes Kyle, too.
He still has about 291 laps to make that lap up.
Okay. Darrell, if you're up on the wheel at a race like this, and how can you not be, do these caution flags give you a chance to gather your thoughts and calm down, or does that open wound just sit there and fester if you're mad at somebody and you have some time to think about it?
Well, you get a little bit of rest. In this place, again, they talk about how physical it is. You get a little bit of rest, and so it kind of gives you a charge, and you might decide to go back up there and say, well, I'll just race him a little bit harder, which will lead to something. We just don't know what.
Let's get out of the pits of the third place car, the defending series champion of Tony Stewart, where crew chief Greg Zipadelli looks like he's dressed for a weekend of snowmobiling, Matt.
Mike, it's not the Crusade for Kids charity ride in January, but it almost feels like it's Zippy. You got your hot coffee up here. What's Smoke saying about the car?
It's okay. We got a little loose on that long run right there. We put a little wedge in it. I just preach to them, just be patient, be patient. We need to be there at the end. We've had some good cars this year and haven't come home with the finishes I think that we're capable of, and so we're going to shift gears, try to be a little conservative, see if we can bring this thing home at the end.
He actually came on the radio when they had the big crash down in 1 and 2 and said, see, I keep telling everybody, I keep preaching, just take your time, give and take.
He's doing a great job of that today. Tony's he's sure come a long ways in the last few years, especially in places like this. You know, you got to be aggressive, but you got to be smart at the same time. And he's doing a great job in this Home Depot Monte Carlo today.
He's led 92 laps so far, Mike.
Matt Kenseth the leader, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, as we're going to go back to green here next time by.
Yeah, it doesn't do any good to preach patience. It doesn't do any good to give you all that instructions if you're not going to take it. And a smart driver will listen to what people are above and around him are saying, and he will go out there and do what they ask him to do.
We're hearing that J.J. Yaley in the 18 that he's still not listening to the right instructions for NASCAR. Looks like he may get it.
Yeah, now he's going to go to the tail end.
He's got to go to the tail end of the longest line, which that line right now is just in the middle of the backstretch. The leaders are taking the green flag.
Well, you know, Yaley's 1 lap down. Brent Sherman was 7 laps down. It's a car that probably waved him by. He just went by on the wrong side.
Rookie mistake. Bet it won't happen to him again no time soon.
Well, he's going to be a rookie for a year there, so I don't know.
Well, Matt Kenseth in about 2 laps has jumped out to a heck of a lead over Jeff Gordon in that 24 car. Whoa, you and I saw it at the same time over in turn 2.
Casey Mears.
And again, it's the 49 car, and the 12 car got shoved up again, way up out of the groove down here in turns 3 and 4.
And Jeff Green just rooted Casey Mears off the bottom, and now they get together again going into turn 1.
I mean, Casey Mears in the 42 knows he needs to get to the bottom because there's a long line of cars on the inside right now. His teammate Reed Sorensen in the 41 to the inside of him.
Not going to let him in. Doesn't have to. Doesn't need to. They're racing for position.
He's going to force his way in there, and that's going to be trouble if he doesn't watch out.
Second place, Stewart and Gordon. Caution on the speedway.
Out. Caution's out.
Debris again. Lap 218. 9th caution flag of the day. And we believe Travis Quaffle will get the free pass.
Yeah, poor old Kenny Schrader in the 21 up there in the 4th position on the track. Looks like he has a good car, but he's 2 down, and the free pass goes to the first car that's 1 lap down, puts him back on the lead lap.
And Schrader has tried to battle the leader on the restarts, but just isn't quite quick enough.
So that's one of the fallacies of the free pass, I think. If you can stay in touch with the leaders, then you should be able to get the free pass, no matter if you're 1 or 2 laps down.
So you're saying it should go to the first car in line behind the leader, in touch with the leader.
Exactly.
Not necessarily the first car that's off the lead lap on the scoring.
Yeah,
chart.
I mean, he could be running at the back of the pack 1 lap down and get the free pass when the guy's up here a couple of laps down racing his heart out trying to get back.
Free pass has worked good, but I do think the 2 weaknesses, what you said, you need to be in touch with the leader, and I don't think you should be able to get it but once during the race.
I agree with that.
We see some cars get it 3 consecutive times.
Ryan Newman was racing 3rd a while ago. He's back to 14th now, and he's on pit road, along with Casey Mears, Joe Nemechek, Sterling Marlin, Kyle Petty, and Stanton Barrett. Dick?
Well, he has simply decided that they need a new set of tires on this automobile, Mike, and this car is well starred up. You can tell that Ryan Newman has been in the midst of battle for much of this afternoon. Crew working hard to get him back out there again. In particular, they want to pull the left front fender out. It had gotten pushed in from an earlier altercation. Is that the right word, altercation?
Sure is. As good as any. He might have had a little contact with his teammate here.
Well, you leave the bottom open, and he did. I mean, you can't make a late entry into the turn here. You've got to know that guy that's coming up under you is going to put his nose there. You come swinging down from the high side down in the corner, you're going to get run into. Got to run a little bit different line here in the race than you do just trying to go fast.
How about Casey Mears? Top 10 in points. He got off to a great start this season, but he and Jeff Green got into a bumping match that started and almost never stopped. There's Mears.
49 car there's Brett Sherman.
That was the first hit right there.
Pushes him up out of line, breaks his momentum, and Jeff Green gets a look underneath. Whoa.
About the same thing that happened to Ryan Newman against Kurt Busch in the 2, the other end of the race.
Exactly, and that's nobody's fault right there. That's just the 42 car was in trouble. He kind of was trying to make it all back up right here, and he just didn't have the
2 cars in front of you.
Jeff Bristol. Here's Matt.
Mike, back when the red flag waved at lap 193, it gave Kurt Busch an opportunity to wiggle around the wires with the radio harness and the wires around his helmet. Now, he does have some communication. Under yellow, he can faintly hear what the team is saying. Under green, he can't hear anything, but at least the communication is improving on the 2. Now, meanwhile, his brother in the 5, Kyle Busch, multitasking the past few cautions, debating on what kind of food he would like the team to hand him through the window. It was a bag of chips, a meal supplement. Now he's down to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, give him a bowl of cereal. He'll be all right.
Just make sure he doesn't tell him he wants some goodies.
Yeah,
They'll give him a headache powder.
No Pop-Tarts.
You can't beat PB&J. Television crews have existed for decades on peanut butter and jelly.
And quickly on the radio deal, you bounce around in the seat, got those big headrests, you knock those connections loose on your helmet.
Well, let's see what happens on this restart as the sun starts to poke through, and it's time for you to exercise that surround sound and crank it up. Green flag. Lead change, Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Tony was a lot more aggressive on that restart. He didn't let Matt get away. He was hounding him coming to take the green, and looked like he wanted to lead really bad.
You know, someone else did get a great restart with Jeff Gordon in the 24 car. Kevin Harvick in the 29 got by him for third, and somewhat driving away from Gordon right now with a lot of heat from Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, and how about that Budweiser car? Dale Earnhardt Jr. sitting up there in the 7th position. No longer 7th. He's going to take 6th away from Carl Edwards in the 99.
Yeah, Junior's car looks really good. It's cutting in the middle well, and he is able to really charge hard up off the corner, which is exactly what you want to be able to do.
Darrell, he follows that yellow line all the way through the middle of the corner. That's a sign of a good working race car.
As this concrete gets rubber built up on it, the characteristics of it change. Sometimes a car that wasn't very good in the beginning can really come on strong about middle of the race.
But what's impressive, Darrell, is for the 2nd week in a row, they have made that car better as the race has gone along.
And I think that was one of their Achilles heels from the past. They didn't seem to be able to hit the setup and get it right during the race. They always faltered near the end of the day. Today, they don't have that problem.
Bobby Labonte in the Petty 43, just ahead of Greg Biffle. Biffle back on the lead lap and up to 15th. Labonte led 33 laps last week, but the motor let go early.
You know, you heard Jeff Hammond in the pre-race ask Kurt Busch about his relationship he's building with Roy McCauley. I think what's happening here is Bobby Labonte, Robbie Loomis, Todd Parrott, that group, they're getting on the same page together here 5 races into this season. Great run in Atlanta last week, led the race, had the engine expire, but it's like this deal is finally coming around now.
Well, Larry, you know what it's like. You walk into any shop, you're new in the shop. There's things you see that you don't like. There's things you see that you do like. And you got to fix the things you don't like, and it takes time.
Kurt Busch on the back of Carl Edwards, and this is for 7th place, about 3.5 seconds behind leader Tony Stewart.
And just to update you on Kurt Busch, he was one of the cars early in the race that had a tire issue. When a lap down, at one point he was 39th, and here he is moving into the top 7 with his 2 car. He will be a factor before this day is over. He's already becoming a factor again.
Oh, yeah. He's done a really good job of bringing himself up through there.
Watch his teammate, though, Ryan Newman, getting up and under Denny Hamlin. Oh, not once, but twice, and pretty big the 2nd time. But
got to remember now, Newman came to pits and got tires, so he's pretty fast.
And just prior to that, we saw this exchange.
Got that shield up. He is focused. I don't think I've ever seen a driver more focused. Never blinks his eyes, never takes his eyes. He never looks anywhere but to the left. He is intense, man. Look at that.
Hamlin is running in 28th in that number 11, the FedEx car. Waffle just ahead of him, back on the lead lap. Time for our next Singular Virtual Crew Chief question. Should we start less than 43 cars on short tracks? We used to, but now more than 43 cars are at the track every week to impress their sponsors and fans, and the fields are fixed at all tracks at 43. Should we start less here and at Martinsville and Richmond? Text the word crew to 191 on your Singular wireless phone, or log on to foxsports.com/singular.
I got to believe fans would probably say start 50.
That's not an option, but you're right. Maybe it should be.
Darrell, how about this shot right here, Terry Labonte? I think this will show you a lot about what's going on with that driver in there.
Boy, look at that. He's got a handful of steering wheel. That right front is gigging into the banking. He gets a quick look over his shoulder just to be sure nobody's there. But look how he's planted in that seat. I mean, we call that a cocoon. You're back in your cocoon. You got your headrest all around you. Look at his body. It never moves. And that's good news here at Bristol, because you need to be planted in the seat.
Now, Tony Raines takes over that ride next week, beginning at Martinsville. Terry Labonte has driven it in the first 5 races.
But you do see his head bouncing around a little bit. And those wires for your radio are down on the side of your helmet. and you beat up against that headrest a little bit, that may be what was wrong with Kurt Busch's radio.
Two-time series champion and past Bristol winner Labonte has 2 wins here and 1 almost.
Comes a guy that made a late stop there a little bit ago, Larry. Got him some fresh tires, the 5 car. Kyle Busch is looking pretty racy right now.
Back up in the top 10, up to the 9th position, all over the rear bumper of that Budweiser car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 8th. Yeah, a lot of these cars, they've been out there for quite a while on these tires, so I think that's the reason Kyle Busch, the 5, can take such advantage of them right now.
And that could turn out to be a problem, Larry, because this is the part of the race where everybody says, okay, I'm going to ride a little while, which means there's not going to be any cautions, which means you may have to make a green flag pit stop.
Might be a problem for Mark Martin, or he moved over to let Kurt Busch go, but it looked like Mark almost stopped. No contact or anything.
Mark does that. You'll swear his engine blew up.
Big time.
He'll just drop down, let the guy go by, but he shoots right back up behind him.
In fact, he slowed down so much, Carl Edwards almost got in the back of him, and then Mark picked up the pace again.
That's kind of a classic Mark Martin move. If you watch him year in, year out, racing.
Turn 2.
Brent Sherman, the 49.
Sherman, off the bumper of Reed Sorensen.
Wrong.
10th caution of the day. Lap 249, halfway next time by. Halfway, Darrell.
Yeah, the 49 car is 9 laps down. He's had his hands full of that car all day.
And he's another driver that's trying to hang on to a spot at that top 35. The rookie from Michigan.
Reed Sorensen in the 41 car just gets in the back of him. It doesn't take a whole lot here at this place as fast as you're trying to run around here.
When you're slow and the other guy behind you is fast, you just cannot get out of the way quick enough.
In front of you, slow it down, go low, come on, caution's out, good job, buddy, good job.
Now, I think this will be the caution that Ryan Newman was looking for, because it's been 90 laps since most of our leaders have been on pit road. I think you're going to see all of them hit pit road, but Ryan Newman's actually going to come in as well. Looks like about everyone's going to make a pit stop here, all of our lead lap cars.
Terry Labonte is the free pass car. Dick?
Happy Harvick running in 3rd spot before that caution flag. The crew has adjusted that car all day long to make it much better than it had been. He won the race here in the spring of last year from starting in the absolute tail end. Jeannie.
Well, Carl Edwards coming on the radio saying the car is tighter right now than it has ever been. Talked of a track bar adjustment, but they decided against it. Just an air pressure adjustment, taking another pound of those left side tires. Matt?
And a wedge adjustment for Tony Stewart. Says still needs help. Late exit last time they pitted on lap 161. A wedge adjustment as well. He was the leader then, and he will beat the 17 at Kenseth off pit road.
Looks like we're going to have everyone back on sequence now as far as pit stop, because pretty much of almost every car that was on the racetrack elected to pit here right at halfway through this race.
Courtesy is very important here at Bristol. Jamie McMurray, who you see here in the Sharpie car, got into his pit box cleanly and squarely. But the car right past him, Kevin LePage, came in and left the right side hanging way out. LePage is the 61.
Angle parking.
Yeah, now that's a legal stop for LePage, but they had to back McMurray up, push him back to get him out. He lost a lot of spots. Wasn't the only close call on pit road this time.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. Almost all but getting in the side of Kyle Busch in the 5 car. It's a wide pit road, but not wide enough for 3 wide.
Wow. That's one of LePage's crew getting upended by Casey Mears, but he got up and finished the stop. He's okay.
That was right in there again by LePage's car. LePage inside a little crooked, and that made Casey Mears have to go in a little crooked.
But that right there is why a few years ago NASCAR mandated helmets on anyone that goes across that wall. Great move by NASCAR.
We are halfway at Bristol, Tennessee, home to the Morgan McClure racing team that had a big open house Thursday. Bristol, Virginia, right across the state line, home to NASCAR President Mike Helton as well.
Mike used to be a radio announcer up here. Worked at a radio station. Matter of fact, he interviewed me a long time ago.
Here's our Quaker State race summary. Jimmie Johnson, the point leader, trouble on lap 1. We then had, let's see, 5, 6, 7 more caution periods before the red flag at lap 193. We've had a total of 10 caution flags for 59 laps in this race, which is now at halfway.
Denny Hamlin, the 11 car, he's going to go a lap down because he's just coming off pit road. The leaders take the green flag.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Saw him coming around turn 3 and 4 down here, not going very fast, and then he didn't make it on the track in time to restart.
Kurt Busch had a cut tire. He is back up to 3rd as this race cycles through halfway. Sterling Marlin got spun. He is back up to 12th.
But I think when he got off sequence on pitting, when he spun, that's what made him be able to work up through there. Then he got back on sequence when everyone hit pit road, so it worked out for him.
Well, I know one thing. That 2 car has come from a long way back. And there's Sterling right there, who's done a great job of recovering from that spin.
And that's points position, Darrell. On the graphic, he's in the danger zone and needs to come out of here in the top 35 so he doesn't have to time his way in at Martinsville next week.
Now, y'all were talking about something yesterday, I believe it was. You're going to be in the top 35 when you leave here, but you can fall back out next week. You're not locked in for the whole year. You can go in, you can go out.
The only thing that didn't change was the first 5 weeks of this year. But I'm going to tell you what, you're right about Kurt Busch. Right at 200 laps ago in that 2 car, he had the tire problem almost the same time that Greg Biffle did. Went the lap down, got the lap back. Here he is just past halfway up there, battling in the 3rd position.
And I've just watched him today, and he's been so patient. The only contact he's had was with Ryan Newman when they were going into 3 over there, his teammate.
Jeff Gordon up for 4th, just ahead of him. This duo, Matt Kenseth and Kurt Busch, and Gordon appears to be catching them.
But this is like a lot of other things. The longer we go, the thinner your patience get too. You start off with a whole bucket full of patience, but by the end of the day, there's only a few
front
drops.
straightaway.
Holy cow.
Ryan Newman, Reed Sorensen, Casey Mears.
Looks like the real loser on this deal is going to be Jamie McMurray in that 26 car.
Boy, I'll say, look at that thing.
Common denominator, Brent Sherman.
Let's get back by the crash.
I would say they have probably busted the radiator there. That looks like steam water coming out of there. You can almost see it coming out of that area right there.
Yep.
David Stremmy's in it, and so is Stanton Barrett. One car got turned sideways, and suddenly the track is no longer wide enough for anybody to get by.
Mr. Newman's car got quite a bit of damage. I don't think it's anything serious.
It's going to be 4 tires and fuel ring.
Whoa. 41 car looks like he may have got into the back of the 12.
Then when he checked up, that's when McMurray in the 26 really got in the back of 41 hard. Reed Sorensen picked the rear wheels off the ground.
Sherman turned Mears. More cars spin to the inside of the racetrack.
Hair of the Dog 95 car. He's been in a couple of these.
Bracket right in front of you off of turn 4, right on the front. Track is blocked. Get it slowed down. Clear on the bottom. Clear on the bottom. Watch this 49 behind you.
Your brother is not going to have any
Clear.
brakes left when the day's over. He's had to stop several times to avoid a wreck.
McMurray behind the wall. Lap 262, caution flag number 11 in the Food City 500.
NASCAR Nextel Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. Great service and great rates. You can get it all from State Farm. By Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of NASCAR. And by new Gillette Fusion, the best shave ever in manual and battery power. And to learn more about Nextel FanView Race Rewind, go to foxsports.com/Nextel FanView. A handy device that you can rent at any track you go to that gives you the audio, pictures, and stats of your favorite driver. And you can switch from driver to driver throughout the race. Only thing better is if you'd be watching NASCAR on Fox. But FanView is certainly worth that. These are the kind of stats that you would get if you were on FanView. These points up to the moment, as you see Jimmie Johnson, who has led since the start of the season, has fallen out of the top spot as he got off to a rough start here and is currently 10 laps behind leader Tony Stewart. Mike?
Coming off turn 4, Tony Stewart will lead Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin, and Kevin Harvick back to green.
Kurt Busch in the 2 trying to clear Kenny Schrader in that 21 car. Kenny up there just trying to get one of these 2 laps back. Just can't seem to do it.
No, but he's right there, Larry, and that's, again, I feel sorry for him. He's got a really fast car, but he just can't get up there to get the lucky dog because he's 2 laps down.
And he's just not quite quick enough to drive by the leader up there right now.
No, he can hang with him, though. He'll run right there where he is.
J.J. Yeley did get the free pass on that last caution flag, so he's back on the lead lap.
I mean, what's amazing, we're approaching lap 300. We actually only have 1 car out of the race. Hermie Sadler in a 00. Now we got Brent Sherman and Jimmy McMurray behind the walls making repairs, but only 1 car actually out.
Second place, Kurt Busch. Takes it away from Kenseth.
Former teammates.
Go get that 20.
Working together.
But I think that was smart of Matt Kenseth in the 17, because right now he has a couple of lap down cars in between him and 4th place Jeff Gordon in the 24. Lose as little bit of time as possible right there.
There's a guy just coming in the picture back there in that Kellogg's car. That sucker is coming, baby.
Kyle Busch, the winner of the Busch race yesterday.
OAD, overactive adrenaline disorder, a quality Ford drivers possess. And these are the biggest movers of the race. Kevin LePage has gained 13 positions among the Ford drivers. Matt Kenseth 4, Elliott Sadler 2 since they dropped the green.
And I tell you what, I'm happy for Kevin LePage in that 61 car. He's still on the lead lap. Darrell talked about the top 35 in points leaving here. There you see Kevin in the 61 car. Coming in here, he was only 5 points out of the top 35. That's something they want to accomplish before they leave here, is be in the top 35 for Martinsville.
And he takes advantage of Scott Wimmer in the 4, the locally based Morgan McClure car, with their shops up in Abingdon, Virginia, just across the state line. We've got into a little dust up there with Terry Labonte.
Wimmer's been doing a good job.
Yep. Lead lap all day.
Lead lap.
But I'm going to tell you what, you don't think these boys have stepped it up. Tony Stewart just ran his fastest lap of the race about 6 laps ago. Kurt Busch in the 2 just ran his quickest lap 3 laps ago of the race. 1570s around this half-mile racetrack.
Likewise, Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who has climbed to 8th. Casey Kane 9th, Carl Edwards 10th.
As we like to say, business picking up.
Oh, yeah. The hourglass, the sand, she's slowly running out.
Outside corner. You're clear.
But Darrell, we also get to the point in the race where there are a lot of cars running minus fenders, minus aero, and minus some of their competitive ability they started the race with. In other words, there's a few moving chicanes out there.
Yes, there are, but you know, once you get to this point in the race, 300 laps, almost 300 laps in, guys start paying more attention to who's coming and giving them a break. No need in racing them now.
Let me tell you who's coming. We've been talking about him a lot during the race. A lot like Kurt Busch back about lap 60 to 62. Greg Biffle in the 16 car had a flat tire in the green. If that wasn't enough, he had a pit road speeding penalty. At one point, he was 3 laps down. Now he is working on Carl Edwards in the 99, his teammate, to get back in the top 10. There's another car that will be there before it's over with.
That's it, but be smooth. Him and the...
Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick stays right on the back bumper and dips inside
outside.
Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon's car is not quite as good as it was a little while ago. I'm not sure. It looks like it maybe got real tight on him, and he just doesn't get off the corner like he did.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon, you nailed it, Darrell. Jeff Gordon's car has tightened up on him. He just came on the radio as you were saying it and said, guys, we got to free it up.
Yeah, it just looks like he can't get back to the throttle, Dick, and it's a little slow right in the middle of the corner, which is a tight condition.
Tough day for Jamie McMurray. His car sent behind the wall in that latest caution. Jeannie can update us.
Oh, yes. And DW, it's not an hourglass of sand. It's an hourglass of kitty litter because we are up to our eyebrows in it right now around the 26 of Jamie McMurray. How's this for a grocery list? We need a power steering reservoir and a line that goes with it. Hey, grab that big oil line that goes across the back of the motor, and oh yeah, the radiator. That's the kind of stuff I guess you get to work on when you're at Bristol, and they are hard at work trying to get them back out there, guys.
Thanks, Jeannie. 115, make that 215 laps to go as Mark Martin draws a bead on Jeff Gordon.
You know, there was a time back in the day when we didn't have our trucks in the infield, and we had to bring everything inside the racetrack and put it in our pits. So a lot of times, and there was no tunnel to get out.
Turn 2, Darrell.
Whoops.
Elliott Sadler in the 38 car.
Whoops.
He goes around off the bumper of Jeff Green for our 12th caution of the day. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. But we used to have to bring everything in anticipation of what we might need. And if you didn't have it, you were out of the race. So now they got all this stuff in the infield. They can keep these cars running all day.
Lap 287 for our 12th yellow flag.
Now, Elliott Sadler in the 38 was running in the 12th position last time by the start-finish line.
Thought I heard him say something about a loose wheel.
Well, extremely tight right there, extremely tight. That was the exact opposite way to go on air pressure. I messed y'all up on that. Let it.
Tell you what, we're lucky there wasn't a lot of cars involved in that one.
Yeah, Jeff Green in the Best Buy car just barely slid by. See him right there on the outside.
See Jeff Burton in the 31, Robbie Gordon in the 7, and Ryan Newman in the 12 just had to stop right there to keep from getting into him. Wasn't sure which way he was going to go.
Not sure what caused the initial contact between Green and Sadler that sent Sadler around. You see the damage to the left rear. That is the result. Dave Blaney was the first car one lap down. He will get the free pass.
Now, we've been talking about speeds picking up, but I think another thing that's going on, I think there's a couple of things going on. I think, one, the track is cooling down. I know that does not look like a huge change, but remember, this track is concrete. But I think one reason a lot of the conditions of the cars are changing, Darrell, you mentioned it a while ago, this is when rubber really starts building up on the track, like you mentioned, and change the handling characteristics.
That and every driver knows they've got to save a little bit here. You cannot run the thing as hard as it'll go. You'll physically wear out. You'll get in wrecks. So I think that the drivers start to pick the pace up too, as much as the track and the cars improve as well.
Pit road is open. Most of the top 10 or 12 stayed out. Looks like pretty much from about Jeff Green on back will take advantage of this caution.
289 laps complete, still more than 200 to go, and Tony Stewart in command.
They're coming for me.
Slowed and he couldn't go forward anymore. That explains that. As the track cools down, Larry, the cars will get tighter.
Yep, sliding that front end. You know,
Tony Stewart the leader, Kenny Schrader 2 laps down, so not in position to get the free pass. But boy, he's been working it hard all day.
He just about 2 laps ago just drove underneath Matt Kenseth in the 17 car.
Oh. Sorry, guys.
Turn 4, a big stack up.
Starting to stack up.
14 got turned. I saw the side. I saw the numbers on the side of it.
Everything straightened out.
Yeah, Kenny Schrader, he could use several more cautions, and then he would be the free pass car, even though he's 2 laps down. Right now, we've got 3 cars that are a lap down: Clint Boyer, Denny Hamlin, and Mark Truex Jr. that would be eligible for the free pass 1 lap down.
But isn't it a shame to be able to run that good? The 21 car right there with Schrader, right there behind the leader, and not quite good enough to get around them.
And I'm not surprised he's running that good. He was good in practice yesterday, and Schrader always runs good here, but he just didn't have it at the beginning of the race like they needed it.
The 17 appears that Matt Kenseth is backing up into the clutches of Kevin Harvick, Dick.
Well, he's got a really good car, Mike, and earlier in this week, Jeff Gordon, when asked who was the toughest competition here, named Matt Kenseth as the man to beat. On the last yellow flag, Kenseth keyed his radio, said the car is tight a little bit in the middle, but other than that, it's pretty good. His crew chief, Robbie Reiser, then responded and said, we'll make a quarter turn on the track bar, just a small adjustment to make a good car great. Kenseth has run in the top 5 all day. Got a good shot to win this thing.
Maybe, Dick, but right now that car I don't think is right. Kevin Harvick was able to catch him easily. Schrader, as Larry pointed out, just shot past him with ease. Wonder what's up there.
Oh, it's just got that tight.
You're clear.
It's got that tight condition. Sit and run up in the middle of the corner. It just means he's waiting on. He's got to lay out of the throttle, wait for those front tires to grab before he can go.
Tony Stewart works traffic, puts David Stremme yet another lap down, and Stewart's been caught.
Now, if you're Kurt Busch, you are sighing a relief because what was he, 2 laps down, Larry?
Yes, two
laps down. He's worked his way back right where he needed to be, and now he's just sitting there thinking about, okay, I want to stay here. When time comes, I can win this race.
You talked about Kenny Schrader. That 21 of the Wood brothers is quick. He's right in position to take back one of the laps that he's down. And next week we go to the Wood brothers home track, Martinsville, Virginia, for the DirecTV 500. Used to be that the Wood brothers would run only the super speedways plus Riverside and Martinsville. There goes Schrader.
There he goes. There he goes into the 2nd position on the racetrack. But remember, we want to keep updating you. Kenny Schrader in the Little Debbie 21 car is 2 laps down. What he needs to happen now is Tony Stewart in the 20 car get boxed in up there with traffic. He may have a car that can drive by the leader. Then he would only be 1 lap down. But I'm going to tell you another car I've been watching, J.J. Yeley in the 18 car. 45 laps ago, he was a lap down, got the free pass. He's made his way all the way up to the 12th position, goes by Kyle Busch in the 5 for 11th, battling to get back in the top 10. Tony Stewart's teammate, J.J. Yeley.
Well, my little 5 car, all of a sudden, it's just backing up. And for some reason, I mean, it's rubber on the track at this point, and some of these cars are just really getting too tight for these guys. Can't get back to the throttle. You can see him push up the hill just a little bit. While it's doing that, you got to lay out the throttle. You can't get back to it.
Bobby Labonte in that pack, and Labonte is in 13th position. Been a lead lap car all day, and really showing promise with the Petty organization.
We need to mention Jamie McMurray in the 26 car is back out on the racetrack right now. He is 52 laps down, so we have 42 of our 43 starters out on the racetrack right now at lap 315.
After 40 minutes of repair, including the red flag period.
Watching that 43 car makes me hungry. I love Cheerios, hamburger helper. Man.
Not all in the same meal.
No, I
hope.
One for breakfast, one for lunch.
I tell you what, we've been talking about the cars that's been, their handling's been going away. Kenny Schrader just drives by Tony Stewart in a 20 car. Now he's at the tail end of 1 lap down. He could use that caution now.
That's part professional courtesy, part they're good friends, he and Stewart, and part they're both racetrack promoters, and they share a lot in common. They're ex-open wheelers, and yep, you're still a lap down. You go on ahead. I'll see you later.
I was going to say, and it doesn't hurt that you're a little faster than I am too.
He's definitely fast. He's definitely right now,
going on. He's definitely going on.
The other car on the move, Kevin Harvick, closing in on Kurt Busch, 2nd and 3rd place. Yeah, things are going to pick up here.
Yeah, I wish I had a radio so I could talk to Schrader right now. He's got to be all smiles.
He should be.
Yeah.
You don't often drive your way back to take a lap back at Bristol.
No,
Schrader just did.
Past Tony Stewart, Kurt Busch. Good job. Well, Schrader kind of reminded me of Harry Gant, you know. Harry didn't peak till he was what, 52?
Sure.
54, somewhere along in there.
You know, I talked to Leonard Wood this morning of the Wood brothers, and he said, you know, so many people want to condemn Kenny for wanting to race. He said, why would you condemn a racer for racing?
Yeah. What do you praise him for then, you know?
And then the other thing is, you know, they were talking about John Wood was going to be in the 21 car next year. But I saw today where they said, no, he's going to be in a 2nd car. They didn't say anything about the 21 car.
Well, 180 laps to go here in Thunder Valley. Snow this morning, but a nice but cold day for racing here.
two cars looking for a caution right now. Kenny Schrader and Kyle Busch, that 5 car, because he is going backwards.
Oh, he is. Big time.
Tony Stewart with a lead of just 2 car lengths over Kurt Busch. Oh, around goes Scott Riggs. And it comes out at lap 338, Brent Sherman, and I did not see contact from another car that time.
Yeah, I think there was.
Okay.
But I tell you what, it comes out just in the nick of time for Kenny Schrader in that 21 car, because Kevin Harvick was breathing down his neck. So now Schrader will only be 1 lap down.
And that's why little Debbie's smiling. She said, good job, Kenny.
He's been trying to get that lap back for about 200 laps.
Come down a pound from where we were. Come down just a pound from where we were.
Now let's first show you the lead change that took place that put Kevin Harvick out front for the first time today.
Tony just eases over. I tell you, Greg Zipadelli has done a good job of getting in Tony Stewart's head, because Tony is doing everything right.
And here's what happens to put us under caution. Oh.
I told you, I thought there was no contact.
I should say.
Chain reaction behind him. Joe Nemechek in the 01 Army car getting turned around. And, you know, you could blame that on Tony Stewart, but the problem is Brent Sherman probably about a second and a half a lap slower than Tony Stewart right there in the 20.
38 laps down.
Yeah. So,
I mean, that doesn't give you an excuse to wreck him.
No.
But it just shows you how far off he is.
Exactly.
20.
I think pit road will be a very busy place. We were seeing a lot of cars starting to go backwards right there.
Most of the leaders are in. Here's Matt Kenseth's crew at work. Dick?
And Happy Harvick is in as well. He has not said anything about the car. What is there to say? This thing has been incredibly fast. Last round of pit stops, he lost 3 spots on pit road. Told the crew we can't have that anymore. Let's see how they did today. Did Jeannie?
Boy, nothing but good news for the 99 of Carl Edwards as well. Real happy with that green flag run. The car really coming to him. Just left side air pressure adjustments. Got a tear off taken care of, and he is going to be on his way. Matt?
Tony Stewart's in. He says the track continues to get more rubber laid down. His car getting tighter and tighter. Greg Zipadelli going to make an air pressure change. Shaggy Larson signaling that the car is full. He's away. Kurt Busch says the car was loose in, tight on exit. No chassis adjustments, just air pressure change.
Terry Labonte would have been the free pass car, but since he was involved in the accident, no one will get the free pass. And there's a look at Labonte. Back under green, Tony Stewart takes off from Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, and Bobby Labonte up for 5th place in the 43.
Larry, right now I'm hoping I got it right, because I don't know, with 150 laps to go, 155, somebody could try to make it.
I would say so, yeah, especially if you get enough cautions, and we see how important track position can be, mainly staying out of trouble out front.
Just got to hope trouble doesn't find you. Look at all the rent sheet metal on Clint Bowyer's 07.
But should we get a caution, he would get the free pass back on the lead lap. That's what this battle right here all about. With Denny Hamlin, we're riding with an 11. Clint Bowyer in the 07, both rookies battling to get that free pass.
So if it's parts off of your car that caused the caution?
No free pass.
No free pass.
Hard to believe Schrader still isn't in position to get the free pass once today. But he's working his way along 1 lap down. You're riding with Harvick, who led when we went to caution. Stewart beat him out off pit road.
I'll tell you, the old rookie he's pretty well dialed in right now.
Oh, backstretch. Mayfield and Mears go around.
And around. And around. And Scott Riggs goes around.
We just talked about it. That mess of an 07 car, he'll be back on the lead lap now. He gets the free pass, Clint Bowyer.
Well, this was synchronized spinning. Somebody turned Jeremy Mayfield, and then another car was spun just behind him. Travis Kvapil appeared to get the worst of it. in the Tide number 32.
Travis was still on lead lap, too. Hadn't been doing too bad a job.
Yeah, Casey Mears was the other car that spun, and, well, that's not pretty.
Bumper brace.
Yeah.
Big bumper brace out of the back of a car. Those two little rods sticking out there welded to the back frame rail. So somebody lost their bumper brace.
And I tell you, Mike, one of the stories we've been following all day long is being in the top 35 in owner points leaving here. This crash for this 32 car, that's not going to be good for them.
Now look way off to the right of your screen where the lights are on. And that's how this all gets started. Mayfield gets turned first by Jeff Green, and that puts Marlin into Mears.
I think Mayfield, Mayfield may have gotten loose off of 2.
He did, Darrell. Jeff Green didn't hit him, but Green's momentum carried him into Mayfield.
Right, that's kind of what it looked like.
Yes.
The good news for Mayfield, all he's going to need is 4 fresh tires here in the 19 car. And there he's getting them.
Oh, I didn't get the wreck over there, so I'll wreck right here. And look who he hit.
The free pass car, Clint Boyer, who was just coming around to come in his pit.
Boy.
Speed.
We'll take a few pieces off, put a few tires on.
And they told him to clean that piece up right there. And the reason they were saying go, 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 go so much is that the pace car was coming. He was on the verge of losing that lap back right there.
He's torn that man's car all to pieces.
150 laps to go. 14 caution flags so far. Welcome to Thunder Valley.
Wrong with that boy. Smoke.
Kevin LePage, it's actually still on the lead lap.
Yeah, I think he's broken a sway bar is what it looks like. Sway bar arm is dragging the track.
That's the area the sparks are coming from.
Yeah, watch it go down in here and just don't.
Coming out of the right front and the right rear.
Yeah. It's coming out of the right front, I think, spraying down the right side is what it looks like, Mike. I believe it's the sway bar arm.
Really won't work here.
Not too well.
That's a rock between two hard places right there.
I guarantee it is.
And that's a tail light panel flailing away down there. That's just made of fiberglass. It's not terribly damaging.
Can be terribly distracting. Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's a little bit like what we saw on Clint Boyer's 07 car a little bit earlier. Doesn't take much to peel that back. It's still flapping in the breeze there.
This will be the home of the annual used sheet metal sale.
Always is.
Here in Martinsville. See if Kyle Busch will help him out a little bit with that loose panel.
I'd say that's got to be a distraction.
Oh yeah,
Busch in the five.
when and if it flies off, or it's going to fly off, where's it going to go?
There it goes. Up, and away. Down on the apron.
Their TV panel is now gone.
And a fan gets a souvenir.
Good job, buddy.
And the good news is we won't have a caution because of it.
He's the only guy that made money today.
And again, that's a piece of fiberglass. If that had been a piece of metal flailing, caution would have come out or the car would have been black flagged because of a safety issue. But this was not deemed a big safety issue and instead becomes a souvenir.
And that guy just walking along saying, gee, where'd that come from?
Right place, right time.
Right in his lap.
Thank you very much. I'm a big Dale Jarrett fan.
And nice camera work.
And Darrell, we got confirmation from Jeannie that that is a sway bar arm that's dragging on Kevin LePage's 61 car.
Meanwhile, back at the lead.
Back at the ranch.
Tony Stewart closes up on David Stremme. And Kurt Busch closing on Tony Stewart. Kevin Harvick's there, Matt Kenseth, and the 43, Bobby Labonte. Matt?
Great stop by the team, Mike. Got them up to fifth. Robbie Loomis told me that when they sat down last year, they formulated a game plan of how to get Petty Enterprises back on top. He says, you know, you're not going to have Roush or Gibbs or Yates go on vacation, so it's going to be a long road. But each week, he said, we've seen one one positive thing happen each race weekend, and they're seeing another as the 43s running up front. And you know, you look back to the history books, a guy named Maurice Petty, Chief, had 265 wins as an engine builder at Petty Enterprises. He's retired now, but tomorrow is his 67th birthday. I want to send out a big happy birthday to the Chief, Maurice Petty.
Yeah, I agree, man. The Chief was the man. He and Dale Inman, I mean, that is a piece of history. Watching that car run, those guys still around, that is some history right there.
I think that was just a huge confidence builder last week, even though the finish didn't yield it, was when they led all those laps at Atlanta before the engine expired.
14th place here, Kyle Busch moving past Elliott Sadler. Kyle Busch started outside the top 15. Let's get our singular virtual crew chief answer. Should they start less cars on short tracks? That was this question. No. How about more? I think more would have gotten 80% of the vote.
You run that vote and say, how many should they start? It'd say, I don't know, 50.
When you participate in our poll, you're automatically entered for a chance to win Jeff Burton's payday in July at Daytona.
That's kind of one of those things. If you're going to do it wrong, you might as well do it right.
We normally show you who's been involved in wrecks. This is our not involved in wrecks, which is only about 8 or 9 cars there out of 43.
Y'all are pretty optimistic putting that up there.
Well, as predicted, the 24 is on that list. Car looks like it hasn't even been in a race.
I know, but we got 125 laps to go. And
yeah, it's early yet.
I don't think I'd be putting any numbers up yet.
And there's the 24 right there, Jeff Gordon, about to fall into the clutches of Bobby Labonte in the 43. In fact, Jeff Gordon actually just went by Bobby Labonte in the 43. That was the battle for fifth.
When they built this track in 1961, it was a low-banked short track. Only had about 15,000 seats, and they struggled to put folks on the hillside to reach a crowd of 20,000. But once they banked it, they kept building seats and suites, and they need more. It's a tough ticket here.
You know why they banked it? Pick up the speed. It was so slow that they ran 500 laps here. It took 5 hours to do it. So they said, well, we'll pick up the speed by putting some banking to it.
It's been about 25 laps since we had that last restart and that last caution. Tony Stewart in the 20 car leader really having to work lap traffic, and you see by virtue of that going on as they try to go by Casey Mears, the 42, our top 4 are running almost nose to tail.
The war of words between Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick may escalate as they run nose to tail here. Each of us had some not kind comments about the other and have been battling it out to the delight of the media.
I don't know about, I guess Kurt was upset with Kevin last week from Atlanta. I don't think Kurt saw the whole, if he'd have seen the replay, he would not have said what he said, I'm thinking. But then knowing Kevin the way I do, coming to Bristol and starting a little feud before the race wasn't a bad thing.
But we talked to both of them in the pre-race, and both of them said, we don't take it to the racetrack. No. We leave it off the racetrack.
You know what? When you put your helmet on, you gain a whole, you know, that's a different situation. You have fun outside the car, you pick at each other outside the car, but you respect each other when you get in the car.
But there are still 116 laps left to go here at Bristol.
Well, they haven't ruffled each other's feathers yet.
We'll give Kevin Harvick a rainy day at the racetrack and a room full of media as Kurt Busch goes by Tony Stewart to take the lead. And Harvick goes with him. And Kevin will have some fun because he had a receptive audience. Everybody was laughing at his jokes. He was funnier than Chris Myers.
The one thing that he said was that always it brought back memories to me. He said his wife, my wife Stevie, would always stand over in the corner shaking her head, waving her arms, saying, don't say that, don't go there.
And that's what Delana was doing to Kevin.
And that's what Delana was doing, of course.
He even remarked on it.
He did.
My wife's standing back and saying, you shouldn't be saying this.
My wife would be just throwing her hands up in the air like, what are you doing?
The real culprit, a microphone, a driver, and a rainy day.
Exactly.
And a very receptive audience. Yeah, the media has a tendency to egg you on, you know.
Do you like to pick on Harvick just because he's so much like you?
I love Harvick. I mean, he's one of my best buddies. I love playing with him, and he calls me old timer. I call him rookie. He'll always be a rookie, and I guess I'll always be an old timer, but we're going to meet in Martinsville. on July the 22nd.
Tony Stewart let Matt Kenseth by. Stewart slips to 4th, Matt.
He's gone from 1st to 4th in about 3 laps. Mike came on the radio moments ago and told Greg Zipadelli the car is just loose in way too much. So right now, he's just riding.
And what happens is they get tight. You get tight in the middle, so you make an adjustment, and then it get too loose. It's that balance you're looking for, and you can go overboard either way.
Jumping the fence.
Kurt Busch, a 4-time Bristol winner, has taken the lead with almost 100 laps to go.
Good timing.
Rod looking pretty good up front. He's done a good job. We got trouble right now. Those 61 cars brought out a caution flag.
And remember that Kurt Busch had tire problems way back on lap 62. Lost a lap, obviously has worked his way back. Let's get back upstairs.
Kevin LePage may have cut a tire. His car drove up to the top of turn number 4 and came to nearly a halt there, bringing out this 15th caution flag of the day.
Way up the pit with 4 tires on it. I'm not sure what to change. It's a little bit tight on exit, a little loose in. I don't know if that left side there helps.
All right, let's set the stage here. It's been 60 laps since these guys were on pit road. What we learned in the Busch race yesterday, that's not that many laps. The problem, though, is 90 laps to the end. I think you'll see all of these guys hit pit road for 4 tires.
I think you will too, Larry, and I also think that probably Kevin Harvick's tired of following the Busch boys around here this weekend.
But this could be the last stop of the day.
I say this will be.
This tied almost for the longest green flag run of the day at 52 laps. But here they come to pit road. Matt Kenseth has that first stall.
And pretty much every car on the lead lap is on pit road, which right now is 23 cars.
Dick?
Well, Kevin Harvick's crew has dropped a couple of spots in each of the last 2 pit stops. This is the most important one for them to not drop any stops at all. Harvick pitted in 2nd position, said the car was tight. That's all he said. Didn't say where. That was a good stop. Jeannie.
Well, Dick, the discussion upstairs was the same one going on downstairs. The belief in the 99 pit that this will be the last stop of the day. Car's been tight all day for Carl Edwards. They're going to take a half pound out of the left side tires. Matt?
The 2 of Kurt Busch on re-end says the car is a little free on entry and a little tight on exit. Doesn't really want to make any adjustments. You can see a little bit of cosmetic damage just above the grill on the 20 car. Tony Stewart says he needs help at entry and exit. Going to make an air pressure adjustment for smoke. He's away. Good stop by the 43 guys as well.
Matt Kenseth wins the race off pit road. Then Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, and Stewart.
And I think what helped Matt Kenseth, obviously his crew performs every time he hits pit road, but he's in the 3rd pit stall entering pit road over turn 3. The space beside him, in front of him, behind him is wide open. He had a free trip into pit road. He was finished with his stop before most of the guys over here even got to their pit box.
If I was going to pick a pit, I'd go ask Robbie Reiser, what one are you going to pick? And I'd
Right.
try to pick real near him.
And oh, by the way, if you get some laps down, can I borrow your pit crew?
Yeah, right.
90 laps to go in the Food City 500. We're working caution flag number 15. Alongside Harvick,
who is 1 lap down.
Jeff just gets into him and turns him.
But the real losers are Yaley, Burton, Casey Kane, and Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, that happened up there with the 4th place car, and it was cars that were back there about 12th to 15th that was involved in this.
You get real impatient when it gets down to the end of the race, and you got to go. And it's not typical Jeff Gordon. I'm not sure if something happened to the one car to cause him to get into him or not, but that was not a very nice thing to do.
The free pass car would have been the number 4. It would have been the number 1. He was the first car 1 lap down, Martin Truex, but he was involved in the crash, so no free pass. Things stack up here in a hurry.
Get low, stay low, stay low, stay low. Keep coming, keep coming.
Ooh, hard hit. Hard hit.
Here's Dick Bergman.
Kevin Harvick, always the comedian. He first noted how many cars were involved in it. Then he asked what happened, and he was told that 24 was responsible. A little pause, and then he said, that 24, he just didn't show enough patience.
Harvick is hunting his first top 10 of the season. That's kind of hard to believe, but his average finish coming into this race is 23rd. No top 10s.
Of course, this is the third year of the chase for the Nextel Cup, and a Childress car has never made it yet in the first 2 years.
And here's Harvick's teammate Jeff Burton taking his car behind the wall to try and repair it and get back in. Chris?
All right, Mike, guys, let's get a quick recap on a Visa race break here with 83 laps to go. Remember the return of Chad Knaus, Jeff Hammond as crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, who came in as the points leader in trouble right from the start.
Right from the start, he had a flat right front tire. Had to come to make a scheduled pit stop, got down a bunch of laps. You see Chad right there on top of the box watching the crew work. But then later on, he gets in trouble again when he and Matt Kenseth get together, hits the outside wall real hard, finds himself way down today. He's still fighting out there, but he lost a lot of laps.
Dave Blaney, Clint Boyer, Brian Vickers involved. In fact, 7 cars overall in this wreck that left some oil and debris on the track. We had a 15-minute delay. They stopped the action, had to clear the track, got things going. Pit road a little messy for Kevin LePage and his crew member.
Yeah, Kevin LePage's right front tire carrier got hit by Casey Mears. He got checked out of the infield carrier, so he's okay.
Meanwhile, rookie Brent Sherman has been involved in wreck after wreck after wreck, and in this one, Reed Sorensen involved. And now let's go green, Mike.
Well, we showed you the most recent caution, so now we're back under green again. Jeff Gordon did not get a great restart this time as he duels with the number 4 of Scott Wimmer. Wimmer 1 lap down, and now Gordon clears him. Here comes Stewart, but the first 3 cars, Kenseth, Busch, and Harvick, get away, get some breathing room.
And that's the problem this late in the race. You have so many lap down cars on the inside. If you restart 5th, it's like restarting in 10th.
Martin Truex gets a penalty stop for exiting and going above the blend line, re-entering the racetrack.
So his day has went from bad to worse.
Yep.
Pass-through penalty, which means you just have to enter pit road, maintain 30 miles per hour. You do not have to stop in your pit box. Now, right here, we're seeing the battle between Greg Biffle in the 16, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8. That's a battle for 8th position right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been in the top 10 for most of the day.
Larry, always looking at lap speeds. Kurt Busch, 1570 there just a second ago, but by the same token, Matt Kenseth's 1564. So right now you're finding out just who's got what.
.75 to go. As from 11th place on back, Kyle Busch, 12th, the 38 of Sadler. Jeff Green in there digging with Dale Jarrett and Ryan Newman.
Good day for Jeff Green, the 66 car. He had a good run last week at Atlanta and had lug nuts loose on a pit stop, took him out of the lead lap. A good run for this group again today. Darrell, I know we've got a long way to go. We've got 74 laps to go and a lot of lap traffic in front of our leaders, but I'll wonder for the next 73 laps, that pit stop, Robbie Reiser and Matt Kenseth's group, could that Ben have a race-winning pit stop where they won the battle off pit road?
Buddy, if you're going to get me out front, make it now.
Yes, sir. Much easier to pass them in here than out there.
Yeah, because like you say, everybody picks up the intensity. Everybody gives it a little bit more in this last 50, 75 laps. What Matt's doing, that's what his pit crew did. It could pay off.
Carl Edwards. That car looks pretty clean. He has had an uneventful day. One little donut mark from a tire in the right number, Jeannie, and that's it. Otherwise, Carl, sitting there in 7th, has had a strong day.
Yeah, pretty steady in 7th there. The car's been tight off and on throughout the day, but he loves these green flag runs. Larry Mack hanging by. I need you to explain something for me, some crew chief translation, if you will. Some of the psychology going on here. As we went green again, Bob Osborne said, now get this, go hard, but still try to be easy on yourself.
Well, I think what he's saying there is be patiently aggressive. It's time to go. You're within the last 100 laps. But remember, we're trying to make up some ground in the points. You saw 24th in points. We don't need to make any stupid move here for one position.
Don't give me 110%. Give me 100%.
There you go.
110% will get you in trouble.
That's it, especially at this place.
Matt Kenseth's lead on Kurt Busch, 0.4 of a second. That's about 5 car lengths here at Bristol. And we listened in on Kurt Busch and team.
All right, Kurt. That was a pretty good pit stop. 17 was a hell of a pit stop. But you've been better than him all day, buddy. Sorry about that. You've been better than him all day. Let's just keep us in the game here. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't hang your heads, man. It's okay. Everything's cool. All right? I know it was like a 12-7. It was a good stop, all right? Everybody just be cool. You guys are the best.
Little bad blood here.
A lot of bad blood.
Martin Truex not giving Jeff Gordon a lot of room this time.
But right now, Tony Stewart in the 20s boxed in behind this battle right now.
And around goes Truex hard.
Now he pays the price.
Yeah. That happens to rookies a lot. You don't come back out late in the race and do what he was doing. I mean, that's just not. I understand his feelings. I know exactly why he was doing what he was doing, but you just don't do that.
I understand his feelings, but as I keep saying, he should have left them outside this racetrack this morning. He'd been better off.
Truex.
Scott, we're going to get it fixed.
Truex.
Mike, you better listen to me. You better listen right now. All right? You check. You're the nicest guy out there today. You were. I commend you for that. I spun you out earlier. All right? Listen here now. We're going to fix things. Same thing happened in spring race last year. We went and won the championship. Don't ever give up on this team. I ain't going to give up on you. We missed the setup today. It was a piece of shit. Do not give up. Now look what you've done. Now we're going to finish even worse.
All right, we apologize for the language on the part of Martin Truex's crew chief. But the frustration is evident this late in the race when things happen. Here's the replay of this most recent incident between Truex and Jeff Gordon. And Tony Stewart.
And what was going on between Truex and Jeff Gordon about 2 cautions ago, or a caution ago, Martin Truex Jr. in the 1 car, 1 lap after a restart, Jeff Gordon got into the back of him and spun him out. That's the reason Martin Truex Jr. was out there, I think, doing this with Gordon.
So Truex is doing this with Gordon. It's holding up Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte. And Truex is out of the race.
You know, it's one of the things that I think Tony said a couple of times is he has a real problem with some of these younger drivers, your rookie drivers particularly, coming in and not really respecting the guys that have been here a while.
Well, here's the first incident. And at this point, Truex is a lap down. Gordon is a lead lap car.
And I'll be the first to admit that was uncalled for. And I can understand Martin being upset, but you don't take it out. You don't go back out on the racetrack and use your race car to get even with somebody.
I'll be the first to admit that was uncalled for. Not to what Tony Stewart did, but the situation with the 1 in the 24 there.
Because Truex had been roughing Gordon up as soon as Jeff got alongside him for 2 laps. And then Stewart took control of the situation and said, I'm not going to be a part of your guys' wreck. Off he went.
No, because while you're playing games, Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, they're getting smaller and smaller up there. That was a hard hit.
It was.
I'm not sure they'll get that one fixed in 61 laps.
By all of the camera angles, you can probably tell this was not unexpected. Matt Kenseth is our leader with 60 laps to go. Working caution flag 17.
Maybe you can drive my car. You can drive my car.
Watching from our DLP HD TV cam. Cable cam flying above Bristol Motor Speedway. We're getting set for this restart. Matt Kenseth, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart. The top 5 stay the same. Scott Wimmer got the free pass, but Kenny Schrader is now the first car 1 lap down.
Just to update you, our top 9 cars stayed out. Schrader straightens it out in the 21 car.
My goodness.
That was almost big.
Almost had a, almost smashed little Debbie.
Like to have been big right here, boys. Right in the middle of turn 3 and 4.
Almost you know what? He almost pancaked little Debbie.
Yes.
Wow.
Car got loose.
I think he had stuff on his tires or something because he just drove off in there and she wouldn't stick.
Big crash, turn 2.
Dave Blaney in the 22.
Crash.
One car is not a big crash here.
Caution's out now.
Neil Goldberg's on the big crashes. Whoa, wait a minute, where is it?
Our producer, director, and our production team in the truck are so shell-shocked over the now 18 caution flags today that 4 people in the truck yelled big crash, and it was a 1-car spin.
You remember what I said at the top of the show? We have to have patience in the booth, too.
Yeah.
And in the truck. Dave Blaney spins in turn 2. That puts us under caution.
Little Debbie is not, she's had that smile on her face all day long now. That's pretty cool.
McKee Foods, this is a family-owned business, and Little Debbie's taken a lot of ribbing. Now, they made that picture when she was, I think, 10, 11 years old. She's now a corporate vice president. She doesn't deserve this kind of ribbing, does she?
I know one thing, she's getting the best ride she ever had today.
Come on, Schrader, get back on the lead. Did Schrader get the free pass? No?
Golly.
How can that be?
Because he got loose down here in turn 3.
I think what,
Clint Boyer.
Yeah,
Clint
I think
Boyer
what
gets the
happened,
free
yeah,
pass.
when he got loose down there, the 07 got by him.
I knew we were coming up on a record. I just didn't know how close we were. We've had 18 cautions. 20 is the record.
All right, let's see what. It's getting late in the day. Maybe this is a big crash. We just didn't know it.
Yeah, let's see this big crash they've told us of.
It had the makings of.
It could have been big.
It could have been.
You know what, Daryl, almost looks like Blaney, like Schrader, maybe didn't have his tires cleaned off. He just got loose and spun on his own.
Oh, he hooked,
got
the car
hooked,
in front of him,
on the right front.
Dale Jarrett up there, he got hooked on him. Poor old Dale Jarrett, they have hit him so many times in the back end, his TV panel's gone and everything.
Yeah, and Blaney is right on the cusp of being out of the top 35 in points and perhaps having to qualify on time at Martinsville. Speaking of those bars, there's one on Dale Jarrett's car.
That's all he's got left at the back of that car. What can Brown do for you? He could get me a new back end.
Still going.
Robbie Gordon in the 7 car, still on the lead lap in 19th.
How many cars have not been involved in a crash today? I think we're down to 3.
I think it's 3 out of 43. We've only got 3 cars that are actually out of the race. Travis Kvapil, Brent Sherman, and Hermie Sadler.
Surprisingly, I don't remember I don't remember the 43, the 6, or the 99 having any issues.
One little donut, but that's it in one door. Want to say hi to Lynn Jeffers. Good to see him back at the track. He's the fellow that for years has taken care of all of our onboard cameras, and our stage manager up here. He's been having some sheet time lately. They told him he wasn't doing well, and it fired him up, got him up and out of bed, and good to see him here at his home racetrack. His son Andy's taking over the chores while Lynn is on the mend, but glad he could visit with us today. Tonight on Fox, Malcolm in the Middle, followed by King of the Hill, The Simpsons, The War at Home, Family Guy, and Free Ride. It's all on Fox starting tonight at 7.
Now, wait a minute. Malcolm in the Middle, King of the Hill,
Malcolm
The War
is
at
first.
Home. A lot of them, I think it's good transition from what we're seeing here right now.
I think we're going to be able to get in there about the Simpsons. The way this is going, it's already been like 5 hours.
Oh, look, not just the 43 race cars, but one of the track trucks has been involved in a skirmish.
And then here can be the deal from the Simpsons. This would be from the spotter. No!
You do that very well, by the way. Let's get a restart here. We're inside of 50 laps to go. It'll be 48 when they come by. Come on, Schrader, get that thing back on the lead lap. Matt Kenseth is going to try to hold him back. Schrader cannot beat Kenseth to the line by the rules. And Kurt Busch this time did not get a great restart.
No, and he's going to be stuck in behind Schrader, and I don't think that's going to be good for Schrader because the boys have got to go, and they got to get by him pretty quickly.
if they're going to have any chance to catch Kenseth.
Ooh, little Debbie's all drawn up. Oh, a sigh of relief.
And Robbie Gordon in the 7 car you see there, he's going to have to do another pass-through penalty. Went above the blend line, leaving pit road. So his day continues to go silent.
And he's just gotten himself up there and was on the lead lap. And
I'm going to tell you what, Kurt Busch in the 2, he needs Robbie Gordon to make that move pretty quick because he is really holding Busch up. Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth in the 17 with 46 to go is just driving away.
Trouble front straightaway. Dale Jarrett and others involved. No flag.
Coming. You're all around clear.
I guess that was not a big wreck. No flag. We stay under green with 44 to go.
Now Robbie Gordon's going to have a tough time. If he's got to come to the pits, it's going to be a while before he can even get in a position to come to the pits.
Let's show you what happened out of turn 4 as we continue under green.
There's Dale Jarrett. Oh, he runs into the side of Jeremy Mayfield and tries to stay off of him and spins himself partially out.
Nice save.
Battling for position right there. Both those cars still on the lead lap.
Robbie Gordon just now got in a position to get on pit road.
Meanwhile, Matt Kenseth in the 17, a little over a second lead over Kurt Busch in the 2, but it's not going to be long. He'll be catching the tail end of this pack.
Gordon in the Menards number 7 takes the penalty. He'll come back out a couple laps down. First car that Kenseth will catch will be his teammate Jamie McMurray, which should pose no obstacle. Then ahead Jeff Burton, and then a pack of cars a straightaway away. Next week, more of the same. Short Track Sunday, Martinsville, Virginia, the DirecTV 500. Check your tempers at the gate.
Yes, sir. Tell you what, a good battle I've been watching back there in the 9th position. Greg Biffle in the 16, Kyle Busch in the 5. Kyle had a great race car the first third of the race. They got off on their handling and their adjustments, but his car is really fast through the middle of the corner right now. Again, this battle for the 9th position with 39 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't think they made quite big enough change there when he complained about the car being too tight, but now it looks like it did earlier in the race. Really fast.
Now the leaders, the 5 of them, are all equidistant spaced, about 4 car lengths apart, with no traffic ahead for the next 5 or 6 laps. There they go. And with them is Bobby Labonte. The last top 10 finish for the Petty number 43 was last fall at Martinsville. Jeff Green finished 7th in the 43. That was their last top 10.
I think it's safe to say the 43 car and Bobby Labonte need this kind of a run today, need this kind of a finish.
Particularly here at Bristol, because Bobby Labonte has found more trouble here than he deserves.
Go get him.
I tell you right now, just watching our 2 leaders, it's like Kurt Busch in the 2 is faster through the middle of the corner than Matt Kenseth, but Matt seems to get off the corner better right now.
I think what Kurt's doing is matting it right in the middle of the corner, but he's too tight off, has to squeeze out a little bit, and he's losing that forward momentum as he exits the corner. Used to watch Rusty do that here. Boy, right through the center of the corner, he'd be wide open, but have to get up out of the gas a little to get off because the car would be a little too tight.
I'm going to tell you what, Matt Kenseth, he's fixing to catch a bunch of race cars here as we're down to 33 laps to go.
The lap times of the front 4 are separated by only a couple hundredths of a second. They're very equally matched right now.
Yeah, well, look at Busch and Kenseth. They ran the same time that lap.
And the top 3 each just ran their fastest lap of the race.
And we're getting close to the end now, boys. 32 to go. 31 now.
Bobby Labonte having a look at his former teammate Tony Stewart, 5th place at stake here.
Carl Edwards looking at him. They got the pretty tight little group right there.
Not far behind them. We talked about him earlier. Got off a little bit there about the middle portion of the race. Mark Martin in the 6th car. He's up there in the 8th position.
Gotta love Mark, the way he races.
Made a nice quiet comeback.
Just sitting out there. Boys just go on and wreck each other and get mad. I'm going back home after the day's over with a top 5 finish.
Bobby Labonte was working hard on smoke, and now he's got Carl Edwards and Mark Martin right behind him. That's the best battle on the racetrack right now. Darrell, what are we in for if Kurt Busch can catch his former Roush teammate, Matt Kenseth?
Well, I think every driver knows that you do what you got to do at that point. I don't like that necessarily as a statement, but if you can catch a guy and you're coming down and it means winning a race, we've seen it time and time again. We've seen Jeff Gordon do it to Rusty Wallace. We've seen Earnhardt do it. We've seen a lot of guys do it. Just give them a little boot, scoot.
And we've seen Kurt Busch do it when he was driving the Roush number 97. Jimmy Spencer muscled up and out of the way as Busch went on to victory. And Sterling Marlin goes around off the bumper of Kurt Busch, who went to victory lane. There's 2 of Kurt's 4 wins came with controversy.
I believe that he's going to catch him.
23 to go.
He's closed up a lot.
Bobby Labonte made the move on Tony Stewart and put 2 Dodges in the top 5. His and Kurt Busch.
I tell you what, Tony Stewart in the 20 continues to lose ground, but one thing he's losing ground to right now is, remember those cars that pitted back on lap 441. Greg Biffle in the 16 just went by him, and all these cars right here, Kyle Busch, Ryan Newman in the 12, and Casey Kane in the 9, all those were cars that pitted about 30 laps after Tony Stewart in the 20 pitted.
Really impressed with the 9 car today. This track is, remember last year here, I think it was, crashed out early. He was standing there, he was almost in tears. And he's really done a nice job of coming in here today and keeping his nose clean. Got into one little incident here on the front straightaway, but he's sitting there looking like he might be able to pull out a top 10 finish.
Yeah, best finish here in four starts, 14th, so this would be a great day for him.
You see Jimmie Johnson on the right of your screen. What a hard day he has had. He is running now up to 30th, 14 laps off the pace. A cut tire right at the start of the race. Later on, a penalty for men over the wall too soon to fix damage when he popped the wall. It has been a hard day for the Lowe's Chevrolet.
You see right there, he would probably fall back to about 3rd in points now. Tony Stewart in the 20. Remember, this is a battle of 30-lap fresher tires. It looks like Tony Stewart possibly could lose about 2 or 3 positions here.
Yeah, I think Tony made a really good decision right there, because Kyle Busch was just wearing him out, and if Tony had slipped at all, there could have been an accident there.
Now with 16 to go, the good news for Matt Kenseth, the 17-hour leader, the 4 or 5 cars out in front of him are somewhat stretched out right now. It's not like it's a big wad of cars like he had to work through just a few laps ago.
Kurt's going to get him. He's going to get, I don't mean he's going to get him. He's going to get there.
He's going to catch him.
He's going to catch him. I don't know what's going to happen, but he's going to catch him.
But look at the 2 in the 29, Darrell, the 2 cars that are chasing him. Kurt Busch has not had a top 15 finish this year. His best 16th at California and Las Vegas. And the man you're riding with, Kevin Harvick, he's not had a top 10 this year.
There's no question in my mind that when we came here, first of all, that Harvick loves Bristol. And second of all, you put Kurt Busch in that 2 car, you're going to have a winning combination.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, Kurt Busch in the 2 made up a lot of ground. Matt Kenseth was trapped behind Dale Jarrett in the 88 car at the end of the backstretch. About 3 car lengths back, Kurt Busch in the 2 with 12 to go.
Yeah, he's got to go hard, Larry. 488 laps complete and only 12 chances left.
And right there, boom, that's where he beats him. Right in the middle of the corner, Kurt Busch in the 2.
The good news for Kurt Busch is that he won't have no pressure from behind, so he can work on Kenseth here without being pressured by Kevin Harvick, who's several car lengths back.
And Dale Jarrett in the 88 car out in front of him, he's still on the lead lap fighting to stay there.
10 to go this time.
The 17 car looks like it's getting loose off the corner, and Kurt's car looks like it's pretty solid right now. That little diamond move right there, I like that little move. Let her run up a tad in the center and then drive under.
Busch is there with 9 laps to go.
Can't drive in too hard. You'll just slide the nose. Got to back off early and drive under.
And Darrell, what Matt Kenseth has done, he has slowed the speed of that car down to do whatever he has to do to run the bottom, stay on the bottom of the racetrack.
It's so easy. You get so excited. You start racing it hard. And you start driving in the corner harder and harder, and you lose time.
8 to go.
Their lap times have slowed down half a second.
Well, if they're not careful, what's going to happen is the 29 and the 24 are going to put pressure on Kurt Busch, which means he's got to put pressure on Matt Kenseth, and that's when we're going to have a problem. How about it, Matty?
DW, they just told him the 29 of Harvick is 5 cars back. We've got to go now.
And guys, I just saw Matt Kenseth down the front stretch waving his hand like, Dale Jarrett, get out of the way. We're coming down to the end of this race, and you're holding me up right now.
Yeah, I know Dale Jarrett, but Dale he's not racing anybody. Only thing he's doing right now is holding up the leader, and he's not doing anything wrong, but he could get out of the way. Well, right there is where that 2 car flies into the corner, but can't quite get off with Kenseth.
Nope, Kenseth is easy into the corner and quick on the throttle. Busch
5
to
to go,
and
and
there
he goes.
And the 29, Kevin Harvick's going to go by him as well.
It's not over.
Yeah, but there's no question about what happened there. I mean, the 29 was coming, and the 29 is still coming.
4 to go.
And now Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, he's all over the back bumper of Matt Kenseth in the 17.
I think that the 29 said, oh, you did that to Mr. Kenseth? If I can get to you, just like he said yesterday, if I could have got to your brother.
But what if Harvick can get to Busch? Will it be boot, scoot, and boogie too?
That's what I say. I think Harvick would be more than obliged to give Mr. Busch a little shot.
2.5 laps to go.
Busch has got to run. He's got no place to hide.
He better hope that the 88 car keeps going like he was and not hold him up.
2 to go, 2 to go.
Traffic is going to really, it's going to be a big factor here.
They're starting to stack up in front of our leader, Kurt Busch, in the 2 car.
They're going to come across the side. They're going to come across start-finish line sideways and backwards.
Lap car McMurray out of the way. White flag.
Jeff Gordon just got by Matt Kenseth for 3rd space. Harvick's there. He's there.
Oh, and look at this. The 24 just went around. And here comes the 29. Can he get to him?
We're still green.
Still green. Still green. Busch wins it.
Woo! Man, I'm glad it raced over with.
Harvick 2nd, Jeff Gordon, who spun out over on the backstretch. Kenseth will end up in 3rd, Carl Edwards 4th, Bobby Labonte in the 43 car 5th.
What happened to Gordon? I was watching the lead.
17 took him, got him. We got to go back. Oh, yeah, that's probably not very happy right there either.
Matt Kenseth denied the win by the bumper of Kurt Busch.
But, Darrell, it was less than 10 laps to go. Kurt Busch was much faster than Matt Kenseth.
Well, and the 29, I mean, the 29's going to get up there and knock Kurt Busch out of the way if he doesn't go on by Matt Kenseth. So that's just Bristol, baby. Now, that's one thing I will say. That's just Bristol.
Jeremy Mayfield perhaps said it best. This is like spending 4 hours in a clothes dryer, and by the time you're done, somebody's lost a stock or two.
You know what I bet Kurt Busch is saying about that 17? I don't want to hear a peep out of him.
I guarantee you. Oh, look at this.
Snow angels.
Doing a snow angel. Yeah. That's a cool move right there.
Something different.
Never seen that.
Very fitting for the weekend, though.
Yeah.
So the Busch brothers sweep the weekend.
They like
Kyle
Bristol.
on Saturday, Kurt on Sunday.
My name's Busch, and I like Bristol.
It is Kurt Busch's 5th Bristol win, tying Jeff Gordon. His 15th career victory, 7th on a short track, boot scoot, and boogie.
Matt did a whale of a job not to spin that sucker out. But now he's frustrated, rightfully so, ever so slightly. Goodness gracious, it didn't even put a scratch on the 2 car.
And here's what happened between Jeff Gordon and Matt Kenseth.
I think there was some other contact before that, though. I think that's how Jeff got by Matt.
Bobby Labonte almost involved in that one.
How about old Carl Edwards?
Jeff Gordon out of his car, and he's not happy with Matt Kenseth.
Boy, that's totally out of character.
Kenseth approached Gordon. Kenseth walked over to Gordon's car with his palms out, his arms open, as if to talk about it. Gordon would have none of it.
Emotions never fails.
Get in line, folks. Going to the Oval Office.
Fox welcomes you back to the Sprint post-race show. 27-year-old Kurt Busch from Las Vegas, always a favorite in Bristol. Genie Zalasko is with him in victory lane.
Come on out, bud. The uniform may be different, the car may be different, but this is still the same Kurt Busch that knows his way around Bristol. Got to get the hugs in, got to get the high fives. And then we got to shove in with the microphone. Congratulations. I think we could have scripted this. We've got Kurt Busch at Bristol with Rusty Wallace's stuff. Maybe we saw this coming.
This is unreal to have this car, and then just the determination today from the crew. We had a flat tire early and to bounce back from that. I'm just so happy to be able to have the chance to drive this car and to have Roger's privilege to do so, and to get Miller Lite into victory lanes with this Dodge. An awesome short track win for us. We've been close, but we just haven't had the luck this year, and today we had to muscle past Kenseth, and he's a good friend of mine. Sorry, Matt, I think he'll be okay with it next week. You know, he knows that this is short track racing. He knows he slipped a little bit. He knows how hungry we were to win.
All right, maybe someone back there who wasn't quite the friend, at least this week. You feeling the pressure from Mr. Harvick?
You know, we beat him today. We didn't feel anything from him. It's a great group of guys, and I'm real proud to have associate sponsors like Kodak, Gillette, and New Page, guys like Sirius Satellite Radio and Jasper Engines. What's up, Bill?
Got to get the teammates in here. It feels great to be back, I would imagine. I will let you celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Sorry you missed it, Roger. We'll get you next time. Thanks, Miller Lite. Woo!
Chris?
Talking about Roger Penske, team owner, so lap 62, the tire, and he went a lap down, did Kurt Busch, all the way back to 39th. But let's go back to the end of this. Matt Kenseth and Jeff Gordon. And Matt Kenseth is now the points leader after this race. After the race was completed, you saw Kenseth coming over to try and talk to Jeff Gordon, but watch Jeff Gordon's reaction. That's with the helmet still on. Not a friendly gesture. Let's check in with Dick Berggren.
After the race, you and Kenseth, tell us about it.
Well, it has to do with what happened on the racetrack. We had a great car all day long, the DuPont Monte Carlo, and we got a little bit tight there at the end, and then Kenseth got shuffled out, and he was holding guys up, and I got to him a couple of times and showed my nose, and he shut the door on me, and the next time I got an opportunity, I definitely moved him, but I didn't wreck him, and we went down into one afterwards. He just wrecked me, so I'm sure he didn't mean to do it and all that stuff, but I wasn't happy about it, and I showed it to him after the race, and I like racing with Matt. Matt's a great racer, and that stuff rarely ever happens with him, but I'm going to give it back to him what he gives to me, and I guess that's what he felt like, except for I got wrecked instead, and so it's unfortunate for this DuPont Chevrolet team that we got a top 5, great finish. It was going to be a great finish for us, taken away from us.
And an earlier altercation with Martin Truex as well.
Yeah, with Martin, he's letting guys in. I understand a guy wanting to let lead lap car in, but he checked up right in the middle of the corner to do it. And I mean, when you got guys stacked up behind you, inches off your bumper, you can't check up. And I did not want to get into to Martin, and I hated to see that. And I know he wasn't happy with me, and he shouldn't have been. I understand, why he was upset, and hopefully we'll talk and go on.
All right, he's on his way to the NASCAR Hall now. Thank you, Jeff.
Now, unofficially, Matt Kenseth will leave Bristol with a championship point lead. First off, the issue, you had the bump and run put on you, and then the incident with Gordon. Where do you want to start?
Well, I want to start by saying happy birthday to my mom. It's my mom's birthday today, and I want to say happy birthday to her, and I want to say hi to my son, Ross. I have to apologize to Jeff. He's right. I mean, it was my fault. He did bump me out of the way, and I did wreck him, but it was not intentional. I drove in too hard. I was just watching a replay of him wrecking somebody. I mean, I didn't do it on purpose, and I would be mad if I was him. And I left my car to go over and apologize him, which I probably should have waited a little bit longer. So, Kurt Steele, you know, I mean, we are great friends. We've always raced good together, and, you know, he just knocked me out of the way. You know, I thought if he had a run under me and had me beat, that would have been okay. But I had a better car. I could beat him off the corner, but he just drove in extra hard and knocked me out of the way. So I thought it was a little bit of a cheap shot, but I was holding everybody up. I couldn't get the 88 to get out of my way for whatever reason. I know he had to be laps down, as beat up as his car was, and I just couldn't get by him. I just couldn't get it done. I just feel like I let these guys down again. They did a great job on pit road, and just want to thank all my sponsors and my team. They just give me a great opportunity to drive this stuff.
He didn't lead with the win, but he definitely left with a top 5 finish in the championship points lead.
5'9" Matt Kenseth and 5'8" Jeff Gordon. Some big results here as Kenseth, Jeff Hammond is your points leader. Jimmie Johnson falls to 3rd.
He falls to 3rd, but you see the rest of those guys are Kyle Busch in 5th. I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is still up there in 6th. I mean, Gordon dropped all the way down to 7th, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, next weekend I'm sure they'll meet again. Interesting comments from both Gordon and Kenseth. Next weekend on to Martinsville, where Jeff Gordon has won the last 2 races Friday, qualifying on speed. Saturday, Cup practice on FX, the Craftsman Truck Series on speed. Next Sunday, NASCAR race day on speed leading up to the DirecTV 500. You'll see that on Fox at 1:30 Eastern. It's where America gathers every weekend for NASCAR on Fox, Speed, and FX. We hope that you'll be with us. Tonight on Fox, stick around for laughs and fun. Malcolm in the Middle, King of the Hill, The Simpsons, The War at Home. We saw quite a war here in Bristol. The Gladiators going at it. The racing family somewhat divided at the end. Family Guy and Free Ride. There were no free rides today. A number of cautions, a number of testy tempers. It was a bizarre weekend in Bristol. Snow showers, cold temperatures, hot tempers. Tony Stewart, who started on the pole today, led most of the 500 laps. But with 5 laps to go, Kenseth held up by Dale Jarrett. Kurt Busch bumping his way past. And you can take the driver out of the car, but you can't take a victory away from Kurt Busch in Bristol. Chris Myers for our entire gang. Thanks for watching NASCAR on Fox. Promotional consideration.